Welcome back to PUA Drama. My name's Dave, and this is home of all the juicy drama in the pickup community. And I've got a special guest on today, Chris from Social Prime. Now, this is a throwback. This is some old juicy drama that no one knows about that we are going to discuss today. This is juicy. Chris, thank you. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for reminding me. For the record, I'm gonna say we have never interacted before. We have never met before. This just kind of happened. I was commenting, to stumble on the channel, commenting on a couple of the videos, and then we connected. And you invited me to talk about some stuff that happened many years ago, but I unfortunately never had the opportunity to talk about. I mean, I could have done it myself, but back then my crew was holding me back, discouraging me from engaging, and who knows if it was the right decision or not. But there is a lot of things that people never heard. People like always went with a specific narrative that they eventually got from specific coaches or specific groups, and they don't know the truth about a lot of things, or how a lot of things happen, how a lot of people appeared on the scene, what's the quality of their character, and might be worth for some people to hear these things. Now, I don't know if you're a good person or a bad person or a crazy person or a saint. Like, I don't know anything, but I do want to say that I appreciate the invitation and the opportunity to actually finally talk about these things after so many years. And yeah, that's it. We can get into it whenever you like.
Yeah, that's good. You took the high road. This channel is not about the high road at all. This channel is about the juicy drama and taking the lowest possible route. But it's old drama anyway. And I think it is good drama. I think all the drama. I think also this channel too is it's good to have like a record of people coming on, because I'm in Australia. I had no idea about this. It's on the other side of the world. There's probably a lot of Americans that have no idea about it either, because they're on another continent. But I had no idea there was any problem with the Sopot Summit. I had no idea there was any like beef over who was running it or any drama. I think a lot of people would have been interested back then to find out about it. But where should we start? What part of the Sopot Summit where should we start?
It is indeed very interesting, because we're very interconnected: Australia, Europe, US, and sometimes it's in ways that we don't know. Like you revealed to me in our little talk before the recording some things that I don't know about, and then suddenly like some things make sense about my understanding of the history of the community. So we can start a little bit before the summits. But you told me like that you thought, you had the impression that the Sopot Summit was started by UMP, or is this what you thought?
Yeah, I thought that they started it. That honestly was my take on it. I thought they invented it, they created it, but you said in the comments that it was originally RSD. Is that true? RSD originally started this?
Not even. So I'll tell you how the summit started and how it evolved and how things became messy eventually. I'll tell you like at least the part of how UMP started and the part that we had in it and our experience with them in their very beginning, because I don't know what the fuck they're doing now, but I was there. Very like Social Prime had a very important role in how they started, how they got their first money, like their first business, basically clients. And then we just witnessed everything very closely. We were literally like in the same city around the time that they got started. We were gaming in the same places. We were interacting. We had common friends, clients, whatever, like everything. So we were in a sense like very intertwined. So let's start about the Sopot Summit. The Sopot Summit was not officially an RSD event. It started by RSD volunteers. So the RSD inner circles that everybody knows from back in the day, that they had like volunteers in every city running their little Facebook groups, whatever. So the Sopot Summit started by, as far as I know, two Polish RSD inner circle leaders. These guys ran the whole thing, like did the marketing, the promotion within the RSD groups. I don't know exactly for how long it had run before I got involved. I think maybe 2 years. So they were the initial organizers. I don't need to mention the name.
How was this after RSD stopped coaching? Then they used those Facebook groups to promote coaches within the region. Is that how it worked? Was after RSD kind of stopped?
As far as I remember, those groups were still very active in my beginning, and up until we took over the summit, then these groups were still somewhat active. But it was like during that phase that RSD was like slowly going down and kind of like disappearing and losing the grip over the Facebook groups as well. Possibly also because of Facebook's like how do you say, crackdown on the groups and the whole posting pictures. I don't know, like, but it was around that period that Facebook became stricter.
That makes sense because then it all makes sense.
Matter. Like RSD is not like really of the focus, but the Sopot Summit started by RSD volunteers, and it had run for some time, I think at least 2 years, by those RSD volunteers, and it was strictly for RSD audience, right? So when Social Prime emerged as a group, like the first year, we also kind of did our first international debut in the Sopot Summit. So I think this might have been the third year that I ran. And we had really good relationship with those two organizers. Those guys are amazing, by the way. Like the original Polish organizers, they were like very honest people, direct, like honorable guys. Like they were really passionate about it. They really actually like put their souls into organizing the event.
Yeah.
And they invited us. I think it was the third year. It was a little controversial by some people. They were like, oh, who is this? Because they were really used to just like living in their little RSD bubble in the community.
Yeah.
Most of the people like really welcomed us. Like they really liked our content. They really liked the speeches. They really liked the interaction we had with them. It was a really good year. And it also made a really good impression to the Polish organizers. We really had a good experience together.
Yeah. Well, what you say there, from my experience, I lived through the RSD era too, and it really did start going downhill when all like the newer version of coaches started, criticizing RSD to take, I guess, for business purposes or whatever. But that's kind of why we find ourselves here today in a way. But anyway, yeah. So then you started.
Yeah, it is true. RSD did have like the core basically, and then they kind of like imploded, and a lot of other coaches started taking over. And we really were there for that. We really like took a big piece of their pie, but I don't think it was because of some shady tactic or anything. It's just I can tell you why I think RSD like eventually kind of collapsed afterwards, but it's not like central to the story. If you remember it, I'll tell you. But we went to the summit. We had like a really good experience, and then the next year, the organizers they wanted to make it again, but they were trying to get official support from RSD. They were trying to get some actual official RSD coach to show up, maybe like some help with the marketing. They really were loyal to RSD. And the thing is that for all the years that they did that, RSD like literally gave no fucks about them. So the guys were basically doing completely free marketing for RSD, and the summit was international. People were coming from all over Europe, and RSD just like basically took a shit on them.
Yeah, so, this is old school when a lot of these groups were run by guys that would do it totally for free. They weren't coaching, and they were legitimately trying to like help people in the community, and they would spend a lot of time trying to help people out. Things are really changed now. Every group is like a marketing scheme.
yeah, it is. Indeed. I mean, RSD was also like they were looking for profit. I don't think they cared as much as they wanted people to believe about the community, and they did prove it like with specific actions. For like, so the Sopot Summit was a prime example of that because it was actually a big event. It did get like at least like 100 attendees or 150 attendees like every year as far as I remember. before us. I mean, and like when we were there, like it was a considerable amount of people. Um, and and anyway, so the next year after we were invited, they wanted to make it again. They tried to get support from RSD, and RSD took a complete shit on them. So the organizers turned to Social Prime and they were like, okay, you guys seem to care. You guys seem really to like wanna make this well. We see that RSD does not really like give a shit. So the two original Polish organizers, they passed down the event to Social Prime and Mateus, who was a friend of theirs. I don't know, maybe he had like a smaller role or something in the previous years. I don't really recall him in the years
Who
before.
is that?
It's just a friend of the. He's a nobody. He's like just a friend of the
Oh, okay.
original organizers.
Oh,
And
okay.
you will get to know to understand a lot about the guy, like as I reveal like how things happen. But we were like in good faith. We didn't think much of it. We didn't know the guy, but he was like he was basically like referred from the two Polish organizers that we knew and had a great relationship with. So we were like, okay, we and Mateus will do the event, and that's what we did. And Social Prime did pretty much everything important. So we did all the marketing. We invited all the coaches. Back then, like so the summit went from having just local RS Inner Circle leaders as speakers. When we took over, we invited coaches that came from all over the world. Now, in hindsight, some of those maybe we shouldn't have invited, like Zamal, because she ended up causing a lot of shit in the summit. But we invited coaches from America, from Australia. Like we suddenly overnight, they went because of Social Prime, because of our contacts, because of our influence, because of the leverage we had in the community back then, and people trust their word. It became a big international event with big names. Um, I can try to remember who had, like Zamal was one of them. Marcus was there. Alex from Playing with Fire was there. David Swift was there. Uh, who else was like big name? There definitely were a couple more people, but I don't like recall everyone because we had like at least 15 speakers, maybe more. Um,
Okay. Yeah. So then it
I,
became a big international sort of. It'd be great if
yes,
it was
and
still running.
we literally did all the important things, like the copy for the website, the marketing, the video editing, like the post to promote it, the coordinating all the coaches, like to also like promote it, everything important we did. So Mateo's role was like kind of like supplementary. So what he did is he set up like the ticket, the link for the ticket, the sales, which we linked through like the website where we were doing like all the marketing. He had the domain, that the domain got passed to him from the previous organizers, and he booked the hotel and he just ordered condoms with like the Sopot Summit logo and like little plastic bracelets, that you know, the things, those little bullshit like silicone bracelets that you see on events. That was it. This is literally all that the guy did. Like the
Yeah.
equipment, the cameras, like for whoever wanted to film their speeches was like Social Prime, the assistants that were doing the filming, like basically every, like if you were to divide the workload, 90, let's say 85 to 90% of the important work was done by Social Prime.
Do you think it would be? This is just a little. It's kind of on topic, but do you think it would be great if we had a independent sort of uh, place where basically every coach worldwide could go and then talk without the gatekeeping or all of the politics and things like that?
Who's gonna
It'd be
hold
good.
it?
It'd be good if the Sopot Summit was uh, still active today, and basically it could be like the center of where everybody goes in a way. That would be awesome. But anyway,
I can tell you my take on that. Uh, you would not be able to have such a summit where it's like accessible to literally every coach, and then you would not have some drama, because who says that Zamal will not show up there drunk on his speech, like shitting on other coaches, like he did in their summit, right? This is shit that happened. So how do you keep the objectivity and the neutrality and veto people who's gonna
yeah.
show up and who's not gonna show up without being called biased, right?
Well, that's it. That's the issue. That's the politics part of it. It would be great if there was an independent sort of someone to. And if anyone's watching this, there's a business idea for you. You have to be independent. Yeah. But so
with the current climate of like political correctness and feminism and all this bullshit, it would be the summit would very likely be targeted. If there was something like this, I think it would be targeted by the media. You would have to pick the environment, the country carefully, how you would market it, and so on. But I mean, sure, somebody can go ahead. I really don't care anymore. Um, so this was how that summit was the first truly RSD independent summit, and it was very funny because when RSD found out about that, they were like foaming from the mouth. So they had this like private Facebook group that was just for the coaches and the inner circle leaders. It was the inner circle of the inner circles basically, and I had friends in the group. And when the news broke out that the Sopot Summit this year is not RSD focused, like it just was given completely to Social Prime. They organized it. It's just like independent. Like people were sending me screenshots from inside that group, friends that I had inside that group, and you could see like RSD losing their shit, and they were like, "How is about to happen?" Like, but they couldn't do shit because they were never like really involved. They didn't really have like any actual rights to the whole thing. And it's like, bro, how do you expect to like not lose it when you don't appreciate it? Like the original organizers begged them for years to get support, to send coaches, to make it into a truly RSD thing, and they just took a shit on them.
Yeah, well, if you're not running it, then someone else might run it, and
exactly.
That's how the world works. And there's obviously a lot of guys in Europe that are like, hey, I want to go to another summit. I want to go to these talks. Where's the next talk? And if it's not there, then the whole community suffers. So
it was a cool endeavor that this guy started, and yeah, like they were legends in the community. I don't think they'll ever see this video, but like I thank them. We had a good time. I mean, eventually we invited people in the summit that really didn't make a good impression. Like Jamal showed up on the last day on the Q&A that we had with all the coaches, and he was like, "This fucking drunk." He literally shows up with like a 2-liter Belvedere bottle on the fucking. Yeah, you don't know about these things, right? And we even filmed this. I don't know if I still have those videos. Like
so those videos should be online somewhere. They should be given to me.
I thought about one of these things. I think we even gave the video to Jamal, because he requested it. But I don't know if we still have access to some of those videos.
Like is that the one where? Sorry. Is that the one where Alex Social was on stage and then security had to?
No, that was their summit. That was the bullshit that they did like the next year.
Oh, okay. So this is the previous year. Okay.
Yeah. So this is the year before. So try to follow.
J-Mov was putting the Sopot Summit on the radar of everybody early on. That's so funny.
Yeah. Okay, it was really fun. And back then, the Sopot Summit actually took place in Sopot, which is this place in the north coast of Poland, and it's a tourist resort where Polish people go. They have like a lot of clubs. It's an actual location. And I remember like Jamal like just causing shit for the entire week. He would get like shit-faced drunk, and then he would go to the clubs. He would try to fight bouncers. Like it was just the shit show from his side, at least.
That's like old school game.
Or Chris Parker was in the audience. He had just come to see the event, and Jamal was like Chris Parker. Were like some people might remember him. He also disappeared after a while, but back then he had some presence, right? And he was beefing with Jamal. So this guy was in the audience, and Jamal was at the same time just beefing with this guy, like basically calling him to a fight during his speeches.
Chris Parker, is he from like? Is it a company that I should know about, or is that just his
he had a considerable presence back in these like years 2017, 18. I think he's from New York. Not many people will remember him, but yeah, it doesn't matter. Just like a funny thing. I mean, Jamal was eventually beefing with everyone. So yeah, the summit was partially a shit show because of people like Jamov that were just stirring up shit, and also like it was also a success. Like people had fun. We had fun in the summit.
Okay.
We were like we personally were very stressed because we had to like run the whole thing, be there every day early, set up everything, organize everything, everyone.
Well, as long as
But
you didn't
yeah,
have to call the police, then it's a success.
no, like nothing like luckily nothing like this happened. But this was basically the year that we had technically like 50% of the organization together with this guy Mateus, and practically like 85-90% of like all the work. So going back to UMP and how we got to know them and how they appeared. So I knew of Marcus because of Sol from Elite Social Skills, which people, I don't know if they know or not, it was an Australian company, as you said, and then Marcus was part of like Sol's group or team or whatever. And I had a decent relationship with Sol. Like I personally don't have something bad to say about him. Met him live. We shot some videos together. We had some good talks together. Game wise, we did. I told you like also in the little private talk before. We did pull together 2 or 3 times. We did not. We did not get laid in those times. I later met 2 of these girls and fucked them like after Sol had left. It was in Barcelona. Like we met some months like before the summit, and then I think he left and went like maybe to other place in Europe or back to Australia.
Yep, and on that, Bobby wasn't with Sol at that point. Is that correct?
I do not recall any Bobby guy, so maybe not. This
Bobby
I
was
met
good.
Sol in February of 2017, if I recall the month correctly, but it was around that time.
Yeah, it's always the real degenerate good gamers that don't actually get an audience or do the business side. But Bobby, if you're still out there, please, Bobby, if you're out there, reach out if you're still alive. But Bobby had game. I'd see him in the Ivy every weekend pulling. Bobby had game. But anyway, sorry, you continue.
Yeah,
So
well,
UMP wanted to do the next summit and take over after that. Is that
wait,
correct?
we'll get there. There is like the whole lead up to this point. This is like so much bullshit that happened that also reveals the content of these people's characters. It's crazy. It's crazy. The amount of shit like nobody has ever heard of this shit. I could go like I could write pages and like people would read this and would be like just like shocked Pikachu face like every second sentence. So I knew
This
of
is
Marcus.
why we have PUA drama. Sorry.
Yeah, of course. So I knew about Marcus from Sol. I had heard good things from Sol. Didn't know like much, and I thought I would invite him to the event. Right. I think I also invited Sol. I don't remember. I really don't remember. But maybe he couldn't make it. I think we tried to invite him, but he couldn't make it or something like that. So I invited Marcus because I wanted to meet Marcus. I had heard good things from Sol. Whatever, yada yada. I wanted to see the guy in real life. I wanted to meet him. I wanted to talk to him. I wanted to see how he games. I was just curious to see like who this guy is, what he does, how he carries himself, if he could be potentially a person to collaborate with or do content with, or have like any kind of relationship with. So that's how I knew of Marcus. And then the way I met Lindbergh is that summer before that summit that we organized. That was toward the middle or end of August, right? So Lindbergh had come from Australia with his friends, who were like very active in the community, and they were spending a time in Europe. I don't know why they picked. We were in Budapest at the time, and I don't know why they picked it. Maybe it's because we popularized the city. Budapest before was kind of like a hidden place for like specific PUAs. It was like a kind of like known spot. But when we went there and we started putting the crazy stories, the gangbangs, the threesomes, like the crazy airports, because we were very vocal about it. We were very loud. We were putting really like lots of content out from Budapest. I was on Snapchat posting like every second night, like some pool on Snapchat.
You learned the hard way. You learned the hard way. If you find a juicy spot, a really good secret spot, you don't tell anybody unless like it's like
That was
close
not my
ones.
mentality. That was not my mentality because in my mind, like I had not
Mm,
yet realized how toxic the community can be, or how much shit they can bring with them, right? So at that
mm.
time, I was like still very innocent, and I still saw the community for me as my brotherhood, right? And I really
That's
believe
a,
like in the good in the people and the guys that were partying in, and I was like always just seeing like the best
so,
and the
so
positive in everyone.
you were still in that old school we're going
Yes,
to
yes.
help everybody mindset, and you were starting to kind of see the modern version that it's become, which is just nothing but toxicity. And you were like
Exactly.
one foot in old school RSD and Roosh V forums, and we're all here together. We're all a team. This is the secret society to the modern, it's a business. We're here to extract
Yeah,
cash.
yeah. Like
And
you could say that spiritually
mm,
I am an RSD child in the sense that I started from RSD content and I started from the same mentality that they were promoting. It's a different thing whether they
mm.
were actually like applying it, but that's what they were promoting, and that was I was also like in my early 20s when we started at like 21,
And
22, like
yeah.
so
And do you
we were.
agree? Sorry. Do you agree that it might have been a little bit before your time, but the Roosh V forums, in a way, kind of built this community that then RSD was like, that's a good idea, and then they
I was
made
not
it in.
involved. I was not involved in the Roots V forums. I can recall things about the guy. I can recall seeing some stuff about him, whatever. But he was already on his way out when we got
Yeah,
involved. So I technically know him, but I was never really like invested or really like understood like much about what was going on.
yeah.
Um,
Those
uh,
forums, the Roosh V forum was nothing but help. It was just guys spending time helping each other, and things are slowly divulged,
I
But anyway,
guess, yeah, I guess.
yep.
But we were going very strong over the mindset. It could be because of the young age, like being in our early 20s, everybody, because of
Mm,
like how RSD instilled us with like some of those mindset. And RSD is not like just they're not the devil. Like they really did a lot of good shit. Like without them,
mm,
a huge part of the community wouldn't even exist.
yeah.
But we were like this, and we saw like, oh, everybody come here, we're gonna spend the summer like a big brotherhood. Basically, we'll meet you in the clubs, we'll game together, we'll fuck around, we'll have fun, we'll do shit, we'll like meet new friends, make adventure stories, whatever. So we did popularize Budapest. It might be like an arrogant thing to say, but I really believe that I saw a big surge of people started coming to Budapest after we really put it out there. So
Mm.
I don't know if that's the reason, but that summer, basically Lindbergh, who was just like a community guy, he came from Australia with his crew, with his friends, was like 3 or 4 guys, if I recall correctly. We eventually became friends with all of them. One of those guys who was a really kind of like upcoming star in the scene of Australia. I'm not gonna say names, right? But he was.
Come
Uh,
on.
no. I'm not gonna do this. But who remembers? Like they know, and I don't have like anything to say against the guy. He's a good friend of mine. We haven't had contact in a while. He came to the program, and the irony is that he didn't plan to come to the program. He just met Social Prime in Budapest. He was skeptical about it, and then Lindbergh literally convinced him to take the program. And he came to the program, like we all became like closer with like this whole crew from Australia. We had a really good time. We had really crazy stories. Like we pulled together, as I said already. Um, and I had a good image in my mind about like pretty much like everyone, including Lindbergh. Like in our mind, like in the crew's mind, Lindbergh was like a cool friend, the guy with decent game, like that we were hanging out. Like excuse me, like Lindbergh is also Swedish. Two of the guys from our crew were Swedish, so there was like common ground, right?
Yeah, he does seem
Um,
like a nice guy. He does seem like a nice guy. Was the Alex Lindbergh? Yeah, he does seem like a nice guy. Does the did the uh
my opinion now differs like significantly. I think he's like very troubled. Um, but
oh
let me
now
let me
I think he's even more awesome now. But
I don't
anyway,
know how he's now, brother. I don't know how the guy is now because I haven't seen shit about these guys in years. But if they continued in the same path that they were when I met them and when I interacted with them, and this year, like of the shit that went through, then they're definitely like fucking dead. If they continued on the same path, I don't know. My assumption is that it probably is that way. Just like seeing whatever like little bullshit pops occasionally on YouTube, whatever from maybe like a short or something, or they would show up in some Alex from Playing with Fire, like some YouTube live video. Anyway, I don't really interact with them. It's just whatever YouTube throws, right?
so I don't want
Um,
you to, you don't want to tell me who it is, but can I just ask, was the guy Asian with a Chinese background? The friend?
are you talking about Seal?
Yeah.
Seal was part. I don't remember if Seal was
It
there on that
wasn't him
summer.
though.
Maybe I'm not talking about Seal, but Seal was
Oh,
part of that
okay.
too. And Seal was. Oh my God, I need to remember like the. Oh, Seal, who also like was close with Sol, if I remember correctly. Seal came to our immersion the in the spring before that summer. So
Okay.
Seal, I think, was there that summer. I think we invited him also to the summit. I'm pretty sure he had.
So
I'm pretty sure he had like a small speech, like in the summit, like a small
yeah.
segment.
So he did an immersion with you, did he?
He did an immersion with us in
And he did one
Barcelona.
with Soul too.
Yeah, I don't remember if this was like before or after us, but he did an
Mm.
immersion with us in Barcelona in spring of 2017. He was, and no matter what I believe about him afterwards, whatever will happen, because he was also involved in the drama, he was one of the best students that we had. He really grasped the concepts like real well. He really changed his mind because we were going very against like the mainstream narrative of the pickup school of thought at that time. So Seal embraced the concepts really well, and then he went back to Australia immediately after the immersion, and he fucking shredded. I think he fucked like I don't know 20 something girls within a month, and he attributed like a lot to the concepts that
Is
we
this
worked with.
where is this when he got an apartment for a month or two at World Square on George Street?
I really don't know, man. I don't know.
Because so I'm obviously, I was heavily involved in the community, and there's this new Asian guy doing approaches everywhere. And because I was out there all the time myself, that was Seal. He was out every single day. He got an apartment,
He
I
was very
think,
persistent.
right on George
Um,
Street, right next to World Square, and he was out every day. You just see this Asian guy running up and down George Street approaching all day. I was like, who's that guy? Where did he come from? But yeah, that must
Seal
have been
was
around that time.
Seal was effective, especially after
Mm.
what we did with him, and I think we really had a good impact, which eventually like things came crashing down, right? And he had like
Mm.
also like a small part in the drama. Um, Either way, eventually like Seal also like came to the. We invited him to the summit. He had like a small segment. I don't remember. Did he go back to Australia after the immersion? Maybe, yeah, I think he did, and then he came back for the summer. So
It looked like to me, from what I was seeing, it was a guy that I think, I think he did. I assume he did like a boot camp or something with Soul first, and then afterwards he realized that that wasn't very useful, and then he went and probably did that with you afterwards. And then the guy that I saw on George Street was definitely, it was like a newbie guy that's just done some coaching and he's just trying to crack intermediate. He's out on the street every day, you know, like he's empowered, he's ready to go. So that, I don't know, that would kind of make sense. That was what I
Okay,
was
well,
saying.
let me get going
Mm.
because dude, there is like so much stuff and so many people involved, and I don't even know like if I will manage to do everything like within the school. So Lambert at the time, he was just like a guy from the community that we had a good relationship with, and he even like literally supported like the friend from his crew to take the immersion. Um, so I'm just telling you to understand that we had like really good relationship with these people. Um, and we were in Budapest. That was before the summit, and I remember this day very clearly. We were chilling, me and my crew, right? Like me and some people from my crew were chilling in our apartment, and it was afternoon. At some point, somebody gets in the house. It was either like my assistant or somebody from the crew. I don't remember who. I think it was my assistant. I think it was my assistant, and he had just hung out with Lindbergh, and they had a talk apparently, and Lindbergh had told him that he wants to come and work for Social Prime. And I was like, oh, like what does he mean? Like as an assistant? Like the crew is already big. Like we don't really need someone, and also like there is no reason for us to have the cost. Like if he wants to be an assistant and cover the cost, and like the RSD model, and just like be around the crew, whatever, and we maybe, yeah, sure. And then my assistant tells me like, no, he wants to be a coach. And the moment we heard that, everybody in the room, like my entire crew, we started laughing.
He had approach anxiety, didn't he, in the beginning?
I don't know. I don't know what he had. Like from what I remember him, he wasn't like particularly like bad, but not particularly good. It was just like I led two of the three pools, and like the other pool was like pretty chill, like relaxed. We didn't have a bad time. It was like all right, like, but again, nothing remarkable, right? But the moment my assistant told me, no, he wants to be a coach. We to us it was like so like far out, because we had been around the guy. Our job was, I don't know if you probably don't know anything about our teaching or our coaching, but our coaching is not traditional pickup in the sense of learning techniques or outer game. We didn't have any of that. Maybe in our very beginning there was like an element of that, but a very fast the whole concept changed on basically working internally and then having the external completely reflect on that. So the approach of Social Prime was basically deep psychological, emotional work, trauma work, like what you would do with like a very hardcore therapist, basically. And then the goal is
like
to have this
in a game and frame.
Huh?
In a game and frame first.
In our terms, not even, but if you look at it from pickup terms, yeah, it would be a purely 100% inner game focused approach. Like you could characterize it like that from that perspective. So we were working with people like on a very deep level, and we constantly our job was to profile people like also on a very deep level, not just like on what the average pickup coach would do, be like, oh, okay, I see you don't hold eye contact, you don't express intent, not the standard basic superficial stuff. Our job was to profile people extremely deeply in an extremely short amount of time. And all of us, because we had interacted with Lindbergh, we had already done that. So when we heard the guy wants to become a coach, it's like, bro, like, nah, like he's nowhere, he doesn't have anywhere near the depth or the gravity or the build character to do the coaching in the sense that we do it. To us, it was completely like.
So let me piece together a puzzle. Then he goes to Ultimate Man Project, and they start talking about inner game frame and reframe it as subcoms.
I don't know where the whole subcoms thing came. I don't even like know what their any details about their models or their teachings. But
I suspect, the thing is, I'm not saying they did, but I suspect that maybe they stole that from you. But anyway,
I don't know. I'm not gonna make claims. I'm not gonna make any claims of what they stole or not. I really don't care. I have zero claims on that. I have zero claims that they took anything from us, right? Because also like none of them ever went through any coaching with us, so they don't know what we did. They only have the same way. Like I don't know what they're doing in depth. I can just like make some assumptions. I think they're educated assumptions, right? But I think their coachings, at least around the time, I think they were falling in line with the mainstream school of thought in pickup. There was a mix of inner game and outer game and a lot of like techniques and whatever. But what we were doing was substantially different, and none of them ever went through that process, so they do not really know. So I cannot say, oh, they came and stole that. And even if they tried, it would only be on a superficial level. Zero claim on that. So to make it clear, so Lindbergh, in our eyes, was just like a community guy with above average game compared to the average pickup dude, who was just like we could consider him like a friend or somebody we would hang out with, like pleasant guy at that time. That's what he seemed like, at least. But we all, because we did naturally and automatically this like profiling process when we came in contact with someone from the community, we could see straight through him, and we could see he didn't have the depth to coach in the way that we were doing it. He didn't. He had his trauma, let's call it, was that he felt like an outsider, and he wanted to belong somewhere. So he came to Budapest with his friends from Australia. He finds like Social Prime, which is quite well established at this point and quite popular. And he, because we have a good relationship, he attempts to become part of it. And we have nothing personal, but Social Prime is not a friend group. Social Prime is a friend group, but has very, very specific values, very specific model, and everything that we do, both in the marketing and how we interact with the students and how we coach and our message and how we express ourselves, it had to be very consistent and very coherent to those core principles. So it's not a matter of, oh, we like you, we don't like you. It's a matter of, do you understand this? Do you adhere to this? Do you fit in this? And and from this perspective, it was a no. It was like, of course,
so
like
then,
this is important.
So you already had coaches or whatever, or you didn't have space for him or whatever. Then he joins Ultimate Man Project. Is that
we had coaches. We had coaches. In my mind at that time, I was also the crew. Dude, the crew was even bigger than it had to be. This was like one of our disadvantages. The crew was like bigger than necessary. Like or for that same size of crew, we should have been getting more students per program. And already at that time in the summer, I was already working with the idea of inviting Seal, because he had impressed us, and we were considering inviting Seal to start as an apprentice sort of, and then potentially become a coach and eventually take a branch of Social Prime into Australia and hold the Australian branch of Social Prime. Because back then we had like a global vision, and we were well established in Europe, but there was no branch in the US or Australia. So Seal did fit. He did go through the program. He did grasp the concepts. He did like really well. We had great relationship in the beginning, and then we thought, okay, why not, right? So definitely there was not really space for more. I mean, even if there was, Lindbergh had not been through it, and he didn't have the depth, and he didn't have like that solid character that we were looking to become a coach. It was nothing personal. It was just like factually, like just so. And
for the guys at home, I just want to clarify from, I'm fully aware of this now on the other side, is that when you're in the community, and I recently got invited to go to some penthouse party in the United States, and the guy's like, can you fly over here and game with us? And I'm like, so I'm going to fly there and I'm going to pay for it. I'm going to get a visa. I'm going to go to the other side of the world just to game with you. There's like this, we get these offers to go and just game with guys, and they like, we do that if we meet guys and they happen to be in the same city or anything. But the coaching's kind of like, we're going to help this one guy out. But then what happens is that guy wants to be a coach, or he wants to come and live with you. And it's like, it makes it a bit confusing, and so maybe something like that happened. Maybe something like that kind of happened with Alex. So then Alex.
Yeah, and Alex, what we could all tell is he had this like sort of like outsider syndrome, and he really wanted to belong somewhere, and he didn't fit in Social Prime. I do not know how he took the no. For me, it was just like very like no neutral, like nothing crazy. It was like no, it just like doesn't fit, right? But we still like the guy, right? I don't know how he perceived it. And then, this was like the part with Alex. That's what happened before the summit. So we organized the summit. That's when I first met in real life Alex from Playing with Fire. That's the first time when I met David Swift. That's the first time when I met in real life Zamal as well. That's the first time when I met like in real life Marcus. Um, Summit happens with whatever part shit show, part great experience. It was also our first like event, so there were mistakes that happened, and overall it was a positive experience. And then uh, Summit goes, we get back to our programs in Budapest, and pretty much like everyone after the summit or a lot of people, they sort of followed, right? So they came to Budapest. David Swift came to Budapest. Marcus came to Budapest. Lindbergh was in Budapest. Seal was in Budapest. Seal was in Budapest because we invited him to come and become an apprentice and do his practice and then eventually become a coach. Um, and I don't know, but like a lot of people were from the summit, both audience and coaches. They just came to Budapest. So we would interact with them on a daily basis. We would meet David Swift in the club and say hi to him. We would see like occasionally Marcus in the club. We would see like Lindbergh in the club. But the thing is, this is when UMP formed. I think that UMP started forming slightly like just shortly before the summit. The founder of UMP was Pierre. You know Pierre, yeah?
No.
It's great. It's actually to me like crazy that like you know UMP, but you don't. Pierre was the founder.
Really? Who's Pierre? Where is he now? He sounds French.
Pierre is Swedish Portuguese. He was quite big in the community around that time. He had his own. Do you remember Tim Ray, the black guy from America?
That name does ring a bell. Like I remember seeing that name pop up.
Exactly. So in a sense, Pierre was in the community already when I popped up. He had been like a few years in like before me, and he had taken Tim under his wing. Tim like grew because of like this collaboration they had. I think then eventually Tim went his way, Pierre went his way, and because Pierre is also like Swedish. I think he knew like Lindbergh maybe from Australia. I don't know. I think Pierre was also like in Australia. So
So this might have been when Alex filmed his first infield in Budapest. That's the subcoms video where he's like every.
I don't know, but I know that Pierre was their founder. So Pierre brought them together. I think he wanted to make a new company or a new crew. So she brought together, and you don't know Pierre, but Pierre actually had a super central role into like UMP. He was literally the founder, as far as I know, at least. But I mean, I think they all kind of like wanted to make something, and kind of like Pierre maybe was there to put everything together. So she brought like Marcus and Lindbergh together and made like this thing that they called UMP, and they had just started probably like right before the summit, somewhere around like August or July of that summer. I don't know the specifics, right? But Marcus shows up in the summit. We gave him a good time slot. We gave him a good day. He had a long speech. His speech got a good amount of attention. And this was, I think, in Marcus' speech, must have been, if I remember correctly, the first time that the name Ultimate Man Project showed up. That was in the end of the speech, the first time he pitched programs, bootcamps, whatever, to the people, the audience of the summit. One thing that we did in the summit is we gave everybody freely permission to market whatever the fuck they wanted. We didn't have any restrictions, nothing. We're like, you come, you contribute, you're part of this. We want to make something big that includes as many voices as possible. Doesn't matter whether we agree or not, just come. We let the audience decide and use their judgment. And we basically try to keep it neutral, like you said. That was our first year, like the vision at least. Big worldwide event made by the people, for the people. Even if we don't agree with the coaches, just everybody like big names come. We attract a lot of audience and we make something like memorable.
So it's possible that it was already Ultimate Man Project was already built, and that your Sopot Summit was really just, it's possible that they were there just working behind the scenes and you just didn't see all the moving parts happening
I really
behind it.
believe so. I really,
Mm.
really believe so. But I don't know. I don't know what their intentions were towards us in the beginning. I did not know about.
So also for guys at home, then the next Sopot Summit was run by Ultimate Man Project, basically, just
Not
so
really.
that everyone knows.
No,
No.
I'll tell you
Okay.
exactly what happened. Is there? It gets there are the months after this are like 2, 3, 4 months after this are critical to what happened. Um, but as you say, like they had already formed, but we were not really paying attention. We were not like concerned with that. We were running programs. We had to organize a summit. So something happened. I don't know what their intentions were. Up until this
Mm.
point, we were friendly and in good terms with them.
Yeah.
They basically got announced in the summit through Marcus. Pierre was, I don't remember. I don't, maybe Pierre was in the summit, but not as a speaker. I don't remember. I really don't remember. But from them, the only speaker was Marcus, and that's when we first saw the name. And that's when they started like selling boot camps. I think they also did some like free mini boot camps during the summit to promote it to the audience. A lot of coaches did that. We told coaches that it's a good marketing strategy, like offer people like one night or a few hours
Mm.
for free. It will be easy for you to sell, just
Yeah.
show them practically like in the field what you can do, like how you can help them. And so we were extremely open. We literally thought that we really believed in what we were doing. Like we're like, oh
So
fuck, I was like
you thought at that point that the next year you would run it again, the same thing would happen. You didn't expect the
no. Like things were for the most part fine. Jamal was a big problem with his live shit posting basically, and then there was like one more guy that had good intentions, but he couldn't handle the business side. I'm not gonna say names, and maybe there were like two coaches that caused issues in one way or another with bad intentions or good intentions. Um, Whoever remembers. But that's when they appeared. That's when UMP like officially made like their first appearance. That's I think when they got their first like clients coming in and their first public appearance. Basically, I think the summit was a very important boost for them to get started. Um, and I need to recall. Then we went back to Budapest. Everybody after the summit, like lots of coaches from the event, went to Budapest, kind of followed, like gamed for some time. We were doing our own thing. We were focusing on our programs on this and this and that. There might have been some friction. I just remember during the summit about concepts. So uh,
like
maybe
everywhere,
yeah, but,
all the time.
but in our perspective, we were just talking about concepts, and like some coaches
Mm.
were like offended that we were basically saying, "Oh, like fuck our game, we're teaching pure inner game," and then everything just like spawns from there, right? And I think like
Mm.
maybe Marcus got like I'm trying to recall, and I think maybe he got offended at some point because we said this, and he took it personally, and I'm like, we're like, bro, like we're just discussing ideas. Um, Anyway, we go to Budapest. We don't really pay attention, and then they start like forming, like they're putting their Facebook group together. They're getting like people. They're starting posting like reports, whatever. Then I really don't understand how the drama started forming. Maybe they started doing like some kind of like little jokes in the group about us, and we would meet them in real life and be like, "Yo, what was this like we saw the other day?" And they were kind of like trying to how do you say it? Like, what is expression?
Undermine you.
It seemed like they were starting to play a sort of like a weird double game where we are genuinely like perceiving them as uh, friends, especially Limber that was like a little closer to us, like Marcus not that much. He was kind of like doing his own thing, or like we thought we had a good relationship with them.
Yeah.
Oh, one thing that I just remembered that like really like hit bad was that at that point we already had uh, invited Seal. He was already in Budapest and he was like living with us, and he was supposed to learn and train himself and prepare himself to like become a coach, right? And because Seal was part of that like Australian crew and he was friends with them. He was hanging out a lot with them. He was not like present in the programs. And I think at some point, I think I heard that Pierre or somebody else from the crew, they tried to convince Seal to leave us and go and like be part of them. Which to me, it was just like, what the fuck? Like, why would you do this when you clearly know he's already like part of the team, theoretically like practicing and doing his things and learning and being part of the programs? Why, when we're supposed to have a good, honest relationship, why would you not come to me and talk about these things and go behind my back and try to poach one of my potentially like future coaches, right? Seal was not a great choice. I'm not gonna blame it completely on him because we were a little burned out and we were focusing too much on like too many things. The programs were exhausting. The summit had been exhausting. It was like some like days or weeks before, and we were just like very busy with work. So it was us like working our asses off, and then there's like the Australian crew and UMP with Seal is like friends with, and Seal is just like kind of spending his time hanging out with them, messing around, playing around, gaming, whatever, but like not really doing the work.
Oh, and by the way, for everybody at home, just because they're an immigrant to Australia or they pretend they're Australian, they're not Australian. None of these people are Australian, by the way. They're not real Australian. I'm Australian.
However you say
the Australian crew.
Seal is from Hong Kong, like he lives in Hong Kong. I don't know. I actually don't know where he lives, but I think he went to Hong Kong after like returned at some point. But for me, like how I met them, where I saw them camera, was like the Australian crew in my mind, right? The Australian group of friends and gamers. So Seal was hanging out with them. They were trying to poach Seal from my crew behind my back, which for me was like a big "what the fuck are you doing?"
So at that point, you saw out in open what was probably happening behind your back the whole time.
We started like getting wind of it, and then like little bullshit like jokes on the group that they're like as you said, undermining or insulting, and then we meet them like in real life and they pretend everything is fine, but they're probably like just talking shit behind our backs. Eventually, like we still found out that this is not great for him. We also were not like very satisfied. I was like, at some point I was like, bro, what the fuck are you doing? Like, yeah, you I have some responsibility because I should be training you, and I have been very busy. I have not been like putting a lot of time and attention on like training you, or at least I should have delegated somebody to train you, because I'm literally running the company. I'm literally doing like most of the stuff. I'm the face of the company, and but at the same time I'm like, but also like, okay, I haven't done my part perfectly, but what the fuck are you doing? Like, we're running immersion. Half of the time you're gone, and you don't even know the students' names. You literally don't even know the students' fucking names. Like, how do you tell me like, oh, you packed your bag, you left all your entire life behind in Australia to make a new start, and then you come here to Europe, to Budapest, and you don't seem passionate enough to do like what you claim to do, right? And then we decided like to end it. For us, it wasn't a good look. So I did make a post. I did put responsibility on Seal, and Seal was not happy with this. Like, he's like, "Oh, you threw me under the bus in your post, like telling people why we're ending like our relationship." And apparently, he was pissed. So it was like maybe, I guess, an extra motive for him to start conspiring with UMP and whoever else was like against us at the time. Like, the core was them, and then like the rest kind of like started building around them. And I'm just trying to recall details, but eventually, like in autumn, we eventually left Budapest. We moved on to Warsaw for our programs, where we stayed for some months. And this drama like started like developing. Like we started. They were posting shit in the group. At some point, it became obvious to us that, okay, these guys do not have friendly intentions. They are not exactly who we thought they were. They are not honest, definitely not. They literally don't share values, because they were literally lying to their audience. So they would like, it started with small things. I can't recall exactly like posts or comments because it's obviously like 7, 8, 9 years ago. But they were like lying to their audience, and people were sending us questions of like, what is this like bullshit? Like, we don't know how the fuck they came up with this. It's obviously not true. Like, I don't know. You can try to ask more like contest it or doubt it, like see how they'll react, but obviously it's not true. And then we're in this position where like
It
literally,
seems very much on brand for Marcus, in my opinion.
I
He's
I believe so. I believe so.
it's on
I don't think
brand to be very I think the guy's very feminine, and there's this ego as if he's the greatest coach of all time without any evidence that he knows shit about game. And uh it's like, I think recently, I think he was saying that because there's these two guys up in Queensland that are coaching now, and I think they did an immersion with either Soul or Ultimate Man Project, and I think even Marcus is like, well, they shouldn't be coaching either. Everyone should go to Marcus, the godfather of everything. And it's like this snarky sort of, you know, attitude. But in my opinion, yeah, very much on brand. So sorry.
I'm not sure. I don't. I mean, I don't know what your direct experience with them, but I'm speaking as clearly, as honestly as I can. I'm out of the industry. I'm out of the community. My business is not in this. I literally have nothing to lose. I have no stake in the game. I have no clients to gain out of this. I literally give zero shit. It's just a fun opportunity for me to finally come and say the truth, and maybe give some people that might be completely brainwashed or manipulated or just blatantly lied to in their face by these people and their associates,
Yeah.
an opportunity to open their eyes, maybe give them some awareness of things they're not aware, and possibly escape this whatever little community they have. Because I do believe that I don't believe they're chains. I believe this community started toxic, and I believe that in its core, because the leaders and the owners of this community are toxic, I believe that in its core it's toxic. So this is what happened, and we started realizing that okay, these guys are not who we thought they were. We really tried to salvage the relationship, so we did try to talk multiple times. I tried to reach out to Marcus. I'm like, oh, like, hey, I apologize for this. Like the other night in the club, like I was rude or harsh, or maybe like went overboard or whatever. And Marcus is pretending that it's fine, and then like doing shit again, like talking shit like in his group or talking shit behind their backs again. And I really wanted to put emphasis on this thing that I'm gonna say. But during this whole month that this whole ordeal was going on and escalating, because my mindset was to always try to find like the good in people. So I was trying to think, oh, I was like, are we doing something wrong? Have we behaved to these guys really, like, have we done something like really bad? And I was also trying to see
You're being
like
gaslit. You're being gaslit, or you're almost being. This is what.
100%, 100%.
You're being gaslit. That's what isn't it a psychopath or a narcissistic thing where they gaslight
Yes,
you and gaslight
yes,
you, and then
yeah.
you're like, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe
Yeah,
this isn't reality.
that is exactly what it is. And I believe that at the core, specifically at the core of the manipulation and the narcissistic behaviors, I really believe that Marcus and Swift were in the core of that. I don't know, like how like it's not that I give like Alex that I take responsibility off his back, but I do believe that they were the how do you say, the brains behind the factory, and Alex was kind of like the dude following along and just trying to pretend to also be like on the same level of psycho, right? So yeah, it's exactly what you said. They were gaslighting, and they were not gaslighting just us, because it's like, okay, bro, like if I've done something, maybe there is a misunderstanding or whatever, and you think I did something bad to you, you can come to me, or like I get it, you throw shit at me, right? But you pretend, because this is pretending that you want to help men, You're pretending that you want to set the good example for men. You pretend that you want to lead the man to a good place in their life, but you go in your group and you blatantly lie to this man that you're trying to set an example for. For me, that is
What
not
were
a
you
man.
lying? What were they lying about? Do you want to say? What?
Small things here and there, but you will see like the big lies are coming, like the really big lies that are really like they really stay and I remember. And some of these things, like you will listen to them and you will think, how the fuck can someone like come up with shit like that? You will see. Um, but we were already like calling it out. Like one of the core principles of social prime that we were trying to really like teach to guys was to be honest and vulnerable and direct and straightforward and just don't be a little bitch basically. And these guys that they are want to be an example for men. They go there and they just blatantly lie to their audience. But I mean, and the audience is there just like fucking kind of like swallowing all the shit and kind of like taking part in the drama and kind of like starting to throw shit at us as well. And we're there, we're screaming basically, like, yo, these guys, they teach you manipulation with women, right? Their concepts is their, if you look at it without bullshit, it's manipulation. How naive do you have to be, the audience, to believe that they are not willing to lie to you?
I think,
You get what I mean?
one of it was one aspect that they teach is the DHV, and the only DHVs that I really saw were the DHV of getting other guys to promote your coaching. That the DHV of other men. That's what I saw. I was like, you repurposed mystery method for men instead of women. That's what I would see. And
all I know, yeah. Well,
yeah,
all I know is that they were following a more like traditional pick-uppy school of thought, and but but it was like very manipulative in its core. Like, I mean, I want to go into specifics because I also don't remember like exact specifics. It is after all super many years. But I was literally telling the audience, because we had a lot of common audience, like our groups had overlap in the beginning at least, and we were telling them like they are straight out fucking lying to you. And if you're smart enough or aware enough, you can see this. Like the way they present themselves to women is lying. What makes you think that it won't lie to you for profit, to convince you, to put you into their like little illusion of a bubble? Like, do you understand what I mean? And either way, like this was escalating, and we were just trying to focus on our things. I thought we should have called it out harder. I thought we should have gone like full on, like more attack. I did like actually some posts calling out some things back then. Like I called out like behaviors from Marcus, I called out behaviors from Kara, I called out behaviors from Lindbergh. David Swift was not officially part of the crew, but he was like very close to them up until this point. He was not like UMP full on, but he was basically like tied to the UMP crew. He was still part of Playing with Fire at the time. Eventually, like sometime later, she got kicked out in that year, or like right after the new year. I don't remember exactly when, but it was around the time. And
so then
Lindbergh. I'm going to the summit, to the next summit.
Okay, well, let me just recap. So Seal, Lindbergh, and David Swift were all kind of rejects from other companies.
I've never thought about this. But I mean, you could say that. I don't
ultimate reject project. But anyway, so
I don't think he considered it. I don't think he was ever part of it. He was like very close to them because of also the friendships that they had.
Sol was promoting Seal heavily in Sydney. There's like a post every day. I was like, hey, Sol is the best ever.
I can tell you that he most likely considered it. But then I really don't know what happened also between them or behind the scenes, or because it's also like a big period. Maybe he tried to do his own thing. No idea. I have not seen or talked to Shield since then, basically, since fucking years.
And the thing is, where's Bobby in all of this? Okay, like
I
for
don't
the
even know
old school Sydney guys, where's Bobby? Where the hell is Bobby? Bobby should be running the whole thing. But anyway, sorry. So next Sopot Summit.
Okay, before I go into the next summit, do you mind if I do like a quick pause, like 2 minutes? I gotta take a piss.
Yep. Oh, okay.
Is that
Yep.
cool?
Yep. Yeah. Of course.
Yeah.
I will get another. I'll boil the kettle.
All
We'll
right.
take a break.
All right. Be right back.
Yeah. Cool. We'll just let it run.
I'm back.
Yo. Okay. Boiling the kettle. So where were we? Next Sopot Summit.
I'm going to the summit now. All right. So we are in autumn of, I think, 2018, after the summit that we organized, and the beef is ongoing, the drama is ongoing. These people are lying their asses off, like conspiring, like just fucking spreading shit about us.
Isn't that, when you look back at it, isn't it like one of the most exciting times, or not? Was it stressful or exciting?
It's, how do I describe it? It's like you have a mission, right? And you try to focus on it, and then is the feeling that I get is like eye roll. It's like, why does the universe have me
Yeah.
involved with these shitheads? Like in my mind, they are the equivalent of rats. Because
So it was
I had a
stressful because
huh?
so it felt like it was stressful then. You were trying to build something and people were picking away at it.
Pretty much, right?
Yep.
So we had a mission,
Okay.
and that mission was from heart. We literally put like our metaphorically our sweat and blood in this. We believed in this. We
Okay.
wanted to bring a new paradigm to the community, and we were working super hard for this. We were doing our immersions. We were doing like so much work with the students, and we didn't work with the students on a level that they did, because the work that they were doing was very superficial. Just like, come pay us the money, we'll teach you like some superficial shit that will eventually like not work for you because it's not congruent to your personality. And you will get excited, you will get some results for 1 2 months after the program because of the excitement of like, oh, I learned this. Like, because actually this is what it is. A lot of people like they learn techniques and then they have the excitement of learning something new, they do the technique, it works, and then it slowly dies out and it stops giving them a result like after a few days, weeks, months, because it just stops being congruent. So for me, it's like game is like a process where you have to evolve with it, with your own character. You don't just like learn the technique and fucking go like a pirate, do the same shit and expect the result forever, and that
With
you will
that,
get
with, with,
meaning.
with that said, if there's any newbies out there, this is not a weekend boot camp type of a thing. I myself, I spent at least a decade in the community out there gaming all the time, to really, get a proper understanding of what's going on. But anyway, so you're trying to build the Sopot
So yeah,
Summit,
yeah, we
and
we, we,
then
we are putting our souls into this. We're trying to do something genuinely good. We're trying to build men, not fucking no little bitches. We're trying to build honest men with strong characters that actually attract the type of women that they want, that they're able to get meaningful relationships, that they're able, if they want to have a family with a good partner that will stand by their side, support them. Like we're trying to help guys build a proper dream life, like in terms of relationships, and not just with women, because the same concepts were also like on how you relate to other people, how you communicate in general. It was um, it was at its core, our teachings were more self-development, but
also,
with
okay, so
with a game implementation, with an implementation in the field of dating and women. But you could take the same concepts and apply them in business, in whatever, in any kind of relationship, family
yeah,
relationships, friendships.
yep. Let me just so that we kind of understand what's going on. So this isn't about building the Sopot Summit. There was conflict amongst the two companies, I guess, with ideological
Yeah,
differences,
yeah,
and
yeah. Very,
it
very
was
different.
very, very bitchy, and there was a lot of drama going on, and there was lots of attacks, and you weren't actually building the next summit. What year was this? The next summit? You're
Uh,
going into the next one.
we are just before 2019. We're in autumn of 2018. We're
18.
going to 19.
And
Uh,
so you're close to start preparing for the next summit.
yes, yes,
And
yes,
there's all
exactly.
this ideological battle going on,
Precise,
and it's
precisely.
stressful because could you tell that at that point, if they won the ideological battle, then they would take over the Sopot Summit? Were you aware of that part of it at this point? Was that where the stress
I
was
don't
coming
think
from?
the ideological battle has something to do with the summit, and they didn't really take. You will see what happened with the summit. It's like a special kind of fucker. I'm very close to this, but you hit the nail like right on the head. It was deeply ideological, the difference, because as I said, we in the beginning we were friendly with those guys. We didn't have something personal. I think they got offended because they thought we were attacking them when we were literally just contesting a general philosophy that mainstream pickup was following in those years, and they just happened to really fall into that. or like really hardcore, like embody some of the really bad aspects of that idea, of that philosophy, right? And who knows, maybe they got like they thought that we were trying to go against them or some shit. So it's like I'm trying to do like an adult job, and then I have a little kid like fucking messing with me, like pulling my pants and just like bothering me. This is literally how we perceive the whole thing. And maybe they thought, oh, like they are our competition, because we were already like well established, and they thought, oh, like what am I doing now? Do I have to climb over the top dog or chip away from the top dog, or who's like the trending thing just to like come on top, get audience, or become famous or whatever? I have no fucking idea. Like
So
what in
point,
their little
at that point, you thought that you were still going to run the Sopot Summit. As far as you were aware at that point, you were running it, and it was totally in your hands, and that there's no possibility of someone else running it because you already run the previous year.
Technically, they didn't run the Sopot Summit, and you'll see now. So we're in Poland. We've moved on. Like we live there now for like the next few months, and in the club, I encounter Mateusz. I encounter the Polish guy that was the co-organizer that did like fuck shit, like 10-15% of the job. And I told you earlier, I mentioned the detail that this guy was handling the tickets. So he had put his account to the tickets or whatever account, and he was getting the payments. And when the summit ran, we were not interested in the profits from the summit. For us, it was like, okay, that amount is probably not that important anyway. We're not doing it for the money. We're gonna sell programs either way to the audience. We really don't care that much. So we didn't care to clarify things with him. We just trusted him, let it on him. I don't even remember how much we charged, right? And he was responsible for that. And then we were busy with everything going on, so we kind of forgot about it. And then I meet the guy in the club just completely randomly in Warsaw, and I was like, "Yo, what's up? What are you doing? Like, good to see you. By the way, like since I see you here, like I was wondering, I was thinking the other day, what, like, just curious, right? What was the profits from the whole event? Like, how much money did you end up like getting?" And he says the amount. I'm not gonna say the amount, but the amount was considerably larger than what I thought. And my mind, I'm like, wait, what the fuck? Like, this is the amount of money that you pocketed, and here you have to understand that my problem was not the money. My problem was that this guy ended up with like what I considered a decently big amount of money, and he never.
Come on, you gotta tell us.
He didn't pay. He didn't pay for a single fucking thing, like for any coach, any flights, any accommodation. Everybody, even us, the co-organizer who did 85% of the work, we paid everything from our pockets. Accommodation, flights, all the costs, like our food, whatever. It was all paid purely from our pockets. And this piece of shit, because that is what this guy is. That guy is the biggest piece of shit grifter, or one of them that I've met in my entire life, who's pretending to care about the community or pretending like to be passionate. And you will see the proof of this like in the next like few minutes.
Come on. How much? What was the number? Can we have a roundabout number?
It doesn't matter. It wasn't. Okay. It wasn't this large amount of number, but it wasn't like negligible. And I was like, okay, oh my god, what kind of like a piece of shit have I been dealing with? Like because the previous organizers, the original two organizers, they were extremely honest and honorable guys, honorable people. And they were covering all the expenses. They literally were paying, like I think at some point they might even have paid something out of their pocket to help more people, to help more speakers go to their versions of the event. And then they pass the event to us and this fucker ends up just fucking pocketing everything from the profits of the event. Didn't pay, as far as I know at least, didn't pay a single fucking euro for any of the speakers to cover any of the expenses. And then we're in the club, and I get so insanely angry at this fucker. And we had the stare down. I kid you not, for 15 minutes, we have a fucking stare down. And the bouncers literally came, and they thought we were going to fight. And I have to tell the bouncers, no, it's okay. We're just talking. And at some point, the fucker breaks down, and he's like, okay, you're right. I apologize for this, whatever. And I believe the fucker. I'm like, okay, I don't care about the money. As long as you apologize, acknowledge your mistake, and you're honest with me. Like, we can go on to next year. We can make an even better event. But this year, none of this bullshit. None of this like dishonest bullshit. Like, basically, I'm not gonna let you like pocket like all the money again. And we agree. We'll leave it at that. We're like at some point in autumn right now. Yada yada yada. Whatever happens, we run immersions. Drama keeps going on in the Facebook groups. Fuckery keeps going on in the Facebook groups. And then Social Prime, we make a decision internally in the company to split the group into two. I'll go to Australia for some time, like not a long time, maybe like a month, to do some promotion, maybe do like some programs, and the rest of the crew with my assistant and my girlfriend. And one part, there was one more guy. So it was me, my assistant, my girlfriend at the time who came with me, and one more guy who was a student that we had taken him into the group as well. And he was supposedly good with business, and he was supposed to help us organize the business aspect of Social Prime better, because we were not like really businessmen. We just like had the passion to coach and do this. And he was supposed to help us with that. This guy plays a part later, but basically it's me, assistant, the new guy, and my girlfriend. And we go to Bali first, do a little vacation, like relax from the immersions. And then plan was like right after Bali, after a month, to go to Australia and do the promo there, and maybe sell some programs and coach. So I'm in Bali now, middle of December, and I'm thinking, okay, sometime soon we have to start like actually doing practical stuff for the new Sopot Summit. So I don't remember if I called this guy Mateus or if he calls me, the Polish guy. It doesn't really matter, but we're basically like 1 or 2 months after the last encounter with him, and we're on the phone, and I remember this extremely clearly, almost word by word, right? And we're talking, I'm like, yo, what's up? Like, what's going on? Like, we gotta start doing the preparations for next year, at least like just get some shit together, like at least the basics, right? And he tells me, oh, you know what, man? I decided I don't really want to do this. It's okay. You can take the event. I might do another event just for the Polish community. Almost word by word. I might have changed but the exact meaning is this, is like, I'm leaving this. You can have it. I might do something different for the Polish community, Polish speaking only. You get this?
Yep.
So this guy over the phone, he waives any rights he has to the organization of the event.
So you understood that you were going to run it yourself at that point.
Exactly. So from this moment on, from this phone call, the rights to the event, to the organization of the event, belong solely to Social Prime.
So then, what was the event he was running?
That's where the extra fuckery comes in. So I'm like, and I even asked, are you sure? He's like, yeah, it's okay. And you if you connect the dots, because you are a pattern noticer as well, you can tell that the reason why the guy dropped out is because he realized that this year he's not gonna have monetary gain. He's not gonna make fucking money.
Yeah.
Right? So he's like, okay, I have nothing to gain from this. He doesn't give a shit about the community. There is like, this guy is purely grifter. He was a nobody. Like, he didn't have like any audience, any concepts, any coaching, nothing. He was just a nobody in the community that was handed the event, half the event, by his friends, and he just exploited the fuck out of it to make money, and just like, so he knows this year we won't let him pull the same shit off. So what is it in for me? Nothing. Just give them the event and like fuck it.
So
And maybe I'll make my police event. Maybe I can like make some profit there.
So what event was he going to run, and who is he going to run this event with?
So that's the thing. People never I never told people publicly. I mean, our circle obviously knew, like our close circle, but I never told people about the call and this. And so he waives his rights. I'm like, all right, got it. I contact my crew. I tell them what's up. I'll tell them, all right, we're on our own, no problem. He didn't do shit either way. So let's start our preparations, whatever we have to do. And now we're in December, we're in Bali, middle of December, right? End of the month comes, we leave Bali, we go to Australia. And regarding the event, also happened, like it happens that at this time in Australia, like UMP or David Shifter, these people were there. I maybe was still trying to make some sense of all of this, or trying to like reason. David was still like not completely like part of UMP. I don't know how much involved he was in the factory, but probably a lot. At this time, I wasn't like fully sure of how involved he was in the factory, but afterwards I realized that he was like very involved in the factory. And I was even trying to contact David and be like, oh, like, you know, what's up, what's going on with this guy, is like, you're close with him. Also, like, that's crazy, right? That's crazy. I was considering still at that point to maybe invite David to the event to be a speaker of the new summit. So some fuckery, big fuckery happens in Australia in January. I will tell you, I might come back to it later, but it's not directly related to event. It's more like directly like the shit between UMP and Social Prime. But just regarding about the event, fast forward after January, I return to Poland, reunite with the rest of my crew, and we hear, this is the crazy thing, we hear that there is a Sopot Summit that Mateus is organizing with like UMP. Like somebody sent me this shit, or go to my, and we're like, wait, what? Like, what is going on? It was like there was nothing. It was.
But you weren't invited.
What, we're not invited? Like we literally have the rights to the event. So it's like, how does this? How can this guy that waived his rights, like, go publicly and say that, oh, I'm organizing the new Sopot Summit event? By the way, they had nothing. They didn't. When this got to my ears, I think I heard it by by that circle of fuckers, like somebody, like what a common contact, and they told me before they even had started any preparations. At this stage, we already had started the preparations for the event, right? And I hear this, and I'm like, wait, what? And I go on a call with Mateus, and I'm like, yo, what is this shit I'm hearing? Turns out UMP had sneakily behind our backs, because they knew that with all the fuckery that they did, that we would not let them in the new event. So the group of rats, UMP, they found the other rat, Mateus, the grifter, and they went to Mateus directly behind our backs. Mateus, who has already waived his right to the event, and they convinced Mateus to like backtrack and try to do the event with them. But technically, we still own the rights. We're already making preparations. We're already like preparing people for the event. So we have one event organized by Social Prime, who pretty much owns realistically the rights to the organization and the name and everything.
So at that point, let me clarify something. So at that point, if you were going to run the Sopot Summit, you weren't going to invite Ultimate Man Project.
No, obviously not. Because why would you invite someone? I mean, they didn't know it directly, but I mean, they could have guessed. Like, they're not that stupid. So
they guessed that you weren't going to, and then they took it upon themselves to try and take it. See, this is the issue with the community and the groups, and there's always people, people get cut out. There's beefs, and it's like this is the degenerative
But
part
I
where
did not
everyone.
get cut out. I did not get cut out of anything. The guy waved the right. I own the event. I'm already preparing an event, and there was an event. We made an event with international coaches, and with different audience, like better quality, like more mature audience. And these guys are there, and that's the fucking crazy thing of the story. That's the fucking thing that blows my mind of how big of a liar you can be. Like it's literally like spitting in your audience face.
I think this is
guy,
one thing that's missing from the industry is that even if you've got a beef with some other coach, you should just be okay. Everybody's invited in a way.
You know what could have happened? You know what could have happened? If Mateus had been not a piece of shit, not a grifting, lying, manipulative piece of shit behind my back, and UMP had not been the rats that they are, or that they were, or that they have been. I don't fucking know what tense they are or they were, but if they had not been like this, and they had come down to the table, and they were like, okay, like let's like solve our differences, like fucking men, and honestly, not like little bitches like gossiping and lying and slandering behind your backs. Maybe we could have all had an event together. I don't think Mateus, because like he would not have made any profit. We would not have let him. Maybe he would have had like maybe he would have had some contribution and like some profit, but like not like 100% of the money, right? Maybe this could have been solved like adult solve problems, and we could have had like a big nice event. But these pieces of shit, they chose to go behind their backs after waiving the rights, and they go and tell the people, when we're talking about an audience of quite a few thousand people, they tell their audience, we are the real summit. What Social Prime is doing is the fake summit. It's like, holy fuck. Like, holy fuck.
But hang on, I want to clarify. In your event, Ultimate Man Project wasn't invited, and in Ultimate Man Project's summit, you weren't invited.
Even if they invited me, I wouldn't go. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Okay, yeah.
But and even if like
let me just quickly grab my coffee. Continue. 1 second.
I'll wait for you. It's okay.
Yo. Okay, we got a coffee.
And another more mature solution, if we had sat on the table and talked like fucking adults and not like this like little bitch shit, we could have just like said,
this is very common.
We could have said in the end, yeah, but that's the thing. Social Prime was men with integrity dealing with like the values of like that the man deals with. And these guys are like little women, like little bitches, because like it's an insult to women to call these guys like feminine or like women acting. They were just like little bitches lying their ass off to us, manipulating their audience, gaslighting everyone, just to grift, just for personal gain.
So here's a hypothetical. So let's just say Mateos, the organizer guy, he said that he would still organize it with you, and even though you're still beefing with UMP, would you still invite them at that stage?
No. But that was the.
Got to invite. I think this is the issue, and this isn't like criticism of you. I think it's just the whole community. It's like we should have like an open source Bitcoin sort of way of where everybody can be involved. I think if there's a summit.
Wait. You're telling me that, let's say you make an event, right? And you have some guy constantly slandering you, constantly trying to convince people to not buy your shit, constantly talking shit, spreading rumors, spreading
Yeah.
bullshit, and you're telling me you will invite that guy like with your heart open, be like, welcome to my event. Let me
I
embrace you and give you like an opportunity to speak your truth. Oh, come on.
well, the thing here is um I think it's just I've seen so many. It was the Facebook groups, and then it was the WhatsApp groups, and it was the now it's the Telegram groups, and uh there is always like someone controls something, and everything gets. It's almost like uh there's all these little pockets everywhere, and I think over the years I've always just realized that no matter what, you just invite everybody. And
But that's the thing. That's the thing. Like life gives you opportunities. You have to appreciate and respect and honor these opportunities. So we
Mm,
created that format for people to come to respect the event, to respect the other speakers, and have
yeah,
like a chance to speak out whatever they want to say, even if eventually some of these are bullshit. I'm not gonna like
yeah,
we created that and people did not appreciate it. So why should I
yeah.
give again, like the next year, the opportunity to somebody who's taking a shit on me to come
Mm.
and give them a platform? Like
I
you have to
totally
realize
agree.
that
Don't get
you
me
need to
wrong.
be
Don't get me wrong.
respectful and
Yeah,
grateful. These guys, we
yeah.
literally kick-started with they kick-started their shit. They got their first client, their first bootcamps from the summit, at least as
No, I
far as
get
I know.
that. No, I get that. I totally understand all of that, and I think this is why maybe the organizers shouldn't be coaches, or with the RSD in the past, the RSD guys that were organizing it, they didn't really have any. Uh, they weren't putting out content or anything. They were just organizing events for the love of it, basically for the fun of it. And I think I'm at the stage where it's like, let's just say JMOV and Alex Social and Modern Life Dating, and I would love to see them all speak, and I would also like to see the drama as well. As long as like the police don't get called, it would still be awesome to have everybody in one place. If you're the beef,
The
and I
drama
totally
is
understand yours. I understand your point of view, but for the community, which is really it's hard to get to this place. But for me, it would be, no matter the beefs, it's good to have everybody there. You see, and I think if we go all the way back to the game, there was Owen Cook and Mystery not talking for many years, and that kind of ruined that era because those two were beefing in a way. Is it real dynamics, or is it social dynamics, or is it real social dynamics? And then they kind of cut the community up, and that's been happening ever since in a way. You know what I'm trying to say? But I totally
the
understand your point of view. I totally understand your point of view.
the
Totally.
drama can be fun, but when you want to do something serious and you have a mission, there is no space for drama. As well as
Oh,
there is no space for people who disrespect that mission and that vision and that purpose that you have.
mm.
So we made that attempt. We genuinely
I
gave
totally,
people a
yeah.
platform as neutral as possible, and people abused us who created the platform. So it's not as
Mm,
if you add how much uh, fuckery there is. So we embraced these guys. We invited these guys. We were
mm,
friends with those guys. We literally like we had like Lindbergh was in our apartment every other day during the days in Budapest. We were pulling together. We gave those guys a platform. We indirectly helped those guys get their first clients, their first like the
mm.
first
No,
real
no,
life
no.
event.
Look, yeah, we've covered all that. We've covered all that. But let me try to explain what I'm trying to get across. And what I'm trying to get
I
across
know what
is,
you're trying to get across. I'm just telling you that there is
yeah,
no space
yeah.
for this fuckery
Mm,
when you have a real purpose and you really try to make something good. You give chances to people, and if they fuck up those opportunities, they're done. Like, okay, they can apologize, you can forgive,
mm,
but when you have this and they keep playing you, they keep like pretending on our good, and then like you talk shit, like bro,
Yes.
like
Yeah.
first
Yeah.
first
Yeah.
first grow
I
the fuck
don't.
up, grow some balls, and then
I'm
we
not.
can talk again about when you're a fucking mom.
Yeah. I'm not disagreeing with you at all. Let's just let me just point this out. I'm not disagreeing with you in any way. What I'm saying here is that for the audience, and I think this is why the community is so fractured and suffers, is, let's just say you have, as an example, just total different ideologies. You've got Mystery and you got Owen Cook. It would be so much better if we had Mystery and Owen Cook at the same event instead of running their own individual events, because the best way to challenge ideas is have everybody in the same place at the same time.
You can
And
I got nothing to tell you. You can go and blame UMP for that.
you know what I'm saying though. But this is nothing to do with
You
you.
can,
This is nothing to do with this. But
I
what
know,
I'm saying from a
I know.
big macro point of view, it would be good if there was a, a summit where everyone could just go and would have like a, because there's a million coaches out there, would have
You know now who you can directly go and complain about this. Like you know who is responsible for this. Even like even a second like optimal like also like uh, kind of optimal solution would have been like if they sat down and talked with me and we were in good terms and we were like, okay, we can split it. You can go do your event, we can do our event, and we can just tell people, oh, these are both official continuation. We just go our different ways because we have different like ideologies or different like values or different principles or whatever. But no, that's not what they did. They did the most dishonest shit that they could possibly do. So they give you the right to the like Mateus gives you the right to the event, and then they go sneakily behind our backs, do the shit, and then they have the fucking audacity, crazy audacity to go publicly and say, oh, we have the official event, their event, like the real fucking event, the real official continuation of the event. They are fake. Don't buy their tickets, and they went really far. They literally tried to push this narrative that we had the fake event, that we were scamming people. They literally tried to convince people to not buy our tickets, and they even had, I don't remember who, but they even attempted to have people from our lineup, from our speakers, to convince them to drop our event and go to theirs. So it's extra level.
So did both of the events go ahead in 2018?
Both of the events went ahead. That was 2019, not 2018, because we've passed like to the new year. So they did their event. I don't fucking know much about their events. I just know that Jamal was there and he was beefing drunk with Alex Social or whatever.
Yes.
And our event happened in Budapest. We launched before them, obviously, like because we were more prepared. Like if you were not following back then, or maybe didn't even know about this happening, but that's the funny thing. They still had Mateo still had the domain, so the domain he had kept the domain. So the website which we built, everything that was on that website, all the graphics, all the copy, all the photos, the videos, whatever. And back then there was no AI to make that shit. Everything we did by hand. It was like a multi-day effort. Like everything that we had for the first year, they kept that. I told Mateus, you don't have the right to use that. This is copyright of Social Prime. And yet that piece of shit, he still went ahead and used all our material on the website as it was from the previous year. And they literally just changed the photos and the names of the speakers. And I had that call with Mateus, like when this like got revealed, and I was like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, do you have no honor, no nothing? Like you are the biggest piece of shit I've seen in my life to do this.
So that's when I think you need the new website, the real Sopot Summit. The Owen Cook strategy.
It was really funny because we were better prepared. So we had our even though they had our entire website from the previous year like basically ready to go. We launched our website faster. We launched our promotional video faster, and it was like an amazing promotional video. I'm really proud of that. It was like super, super nice. I will try to find it and show it to you after. Um, and uh, and yeah, we started selling tickets before them. Like if you looked at the whole thing, you would know. Okay, like obviously those guys are bullshitting, but the audience doesn't care. The audience like that is one thing that is like a double-edged sword. This is one thing that UMP did for me as a favor, because I used to see the whole community as angels in a sense, like, oh, these misguided men, they're like my little brothers, they're like my family, where I belong, my community. I will try to help them. And then UMP like with their fuckery and having people like join from the audience, because the audience does love the drama. Eventually I figured out. They showed me that they showed me that the pickup community is like probably more toxic than good, like in the mass. And unfortunately, we have this expression in Greek, like near the what is it called? Near the dry weeds, the green weeds also burn up. So this is like the pickup community. Like when there's like a lot of dry weeds and the fire starts burning, unfortunately, some good fresh green weeds will also green plants will also burn in the fire. And it sums up the pickup community for me.
Yeah, so, I think a lot of the groups have been that way since we first started using Facebook groups. I would say there was a lot of drama all the way back to say 2015, where everyone will have their own Facebook group, and then someone's taken the group, and then people are getting kicked out and then it all. I think that kind of started the cutting up of the community, where everybody had their own little, area.
Yeah. And I think that's when it started becoming a thing, like the fragmentation.
Tribalism in a way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, fragmentation, as you say, and that creates the toxicity. And really, ultimately, the solution would be some sort of decentralized, where no one can kick anyone out, no one can rule over, and just have some it's like we got the Soccer World Cup coming up soon, and it's like everyone's running their own Soccer World Cup in every country worldwide. we don't have everyone playing at the same place.
I'm not gonna try to solve this problem because I had my run with it. Possibilities, I don't know. Can there be like an AI organized in the future, something like that? Could probably we're gonna see like a lot of interesting things, but I'm not part of it anymore, so I have no desire, responsibility, or vision for it, or nothing. If I did in the future some kind of event, it would be like outside of the frame of pickup and game. Maybe it would be self-help oriented, with could be some hints of dating in there, since it's what I have most of my experience in, but definitely like nothing pickup or game related.
Okay. Have you written a book since you stopped coaching? Did you write a book?
No, I had it in mind like back in the day, eventually, that I would. Who knows?
Now's when you start writing the book. After
that is true. That would be a good time. But my focus right now is elsewhere, and the book would need a significant amount of time and focus for me to do proper. But I like the idea. It's something
what you can do is literally you can start putting together all of your thoughts about game and really start compiling it into one complete sort of thing, and then regardless of whether you sell it or make money off it, it might be very valuable. It might be very valuable, and you can also compile all of your experience into one book. You see, you can go, this is what I this is what I learned. This is my novel ideas. Just an idea.
I
Just
like
a
the idea.
thought.
Like
Mm.
I've taken what you said and I've like registered it.
Mm.
People suggested this many years ago, but now
Ah,
I see the idea with like a new, more mature perspective, and I could see that
yeah.
happening, but not immediately. Maybe sometime in the future.
And
It's possible.
how old are you? How old are you now?
31.
31. Okay.
Yeah.
So you could write the book and then get some gray hairs, and then you can make a resurgent comeback, start pumping out some infields.
I do not know how you manage to be out there in the streets like all day, every day, but I don't know how you find the energy and the time and the.
I got
To me, it's remarkable. That is remarkable.
well, see, you could put together all of your thoughts into a book. I'm going to do that later on when I'm finished, which I'm not finished anytime soon. Um, uh, but for the last, I just calculated it. It's about a year and a half. I've just been traveling around Asia, just gaming. I haven't worked, and obviously this channel doesn't make any money. This is just for fun. Um, but you could put together a book. You could put together like all of your thoughts, but keep in mind it's going to take a lot of work, and it'll be very worthwhile, I would say, because you start putting it down and you start putting all your thoughts, and this is my thought about cold approach and how to do it, and you get and make it a big book. Don't make it like a small thing. Like it's got to be beefy.
I cannot promise that. I like your
Mm,
idea. It is a nice idea.
mm.
I can see this being something that gives me meaning, because
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
yeah, because as the years went by, we were constantly busy, and there were so many times
Mm.
that I wanted to write something as a post. Like for every post that I wrote, there's probably like 15 posts that I didn't write because of the lack of time, or rushing to do things, or just like rushing to like build the business, or do the next thing, to coach, to get the next girl. So there is a lot of things that I have to put somewhere for whoever wants to read. I do like it. I do like the idea.
So you start writing, okay, you know, clubs, and you start writing down some ideas, and then you have all these memories come back, and then you're like, oh, I got to put that in there. And you have to really think and go back, oh, I know that this concept doesn't work because I tested it. Write it down. I know I tried this concept and it did work, and write it down, and then you'll be surprised how much, because this is why I didn't start coaching until my 40s. It's because,
Like a gigantic lay report, basically.
well, yeah, but also these lay reports, these old school ones, it was like, this is the idea, I'm going to go test it. In the old school days, it was Excel spreadsheet. Here's the data. Here's the evidence that this didn't work for me in this particular city with my demographics, targeting this demographic. Yeah, you could make a really big sort of book where you put all of your thoughts down, and then at the end of it, it wouldn't be easy. It would take a lot of time. Um, then at the end, you're like, I've got it. Here it is, completed. Because guys get into game and they think it's like, oh, a few canned lines. I'm just gonna they okay. I got the inner game concepts. I got this. Give me 2 days. I'll figure this out. And there's guys stuck in intermediate purgatory that have been there for 10 years doing the same thing. You'll be surprised when you start writing how deep your book could get. You know what I mean? So, and then Social Prime could make a comeback.
I cannot imagine it making a comeback in the same sense that it had. If it ever makes a comeback, it will be a completely revamped, and it will not be pickup or game related, like at all. The thing common would be basically the name and the core principles, the core psychological principles that the pickup thing was based on. I mean, it's not a bad idea because
Did you
as,
settle?
as a concept, it can stand easily.
Did you settle down? Like, are you still doing pickup, or have you settled down? Like, got kids or something? Moved on?
No kids yet. But I've been in a relationship for 2 years now, like traditional relationship,
Okay.
and right now I'm focusing on making money in business and just setting the foundations for a family in a few years.
Oh, okay.
Nothing crazy, just like what you would expect, like normally. Maybe I would even say that maybe I could have even like done things like that earlier.
Well, where you're at right now, my understanding is there's IMEC, IMEC. It's the India Middle East Economic Corridor they're trying to build through the port of Piraeus in Greece. So there's a possibility Greece might get mega wealthy if they're able to make that work.
Wait, what was that? I don't think of what did you call it?
IMEC. I'll send you some stuff. I'll send you some links and stuff, some
India,
screenshots.
would you say India Middle?
Yeah, they're trying to build an economic corridor from India through the Middle East, through the GCC countries, through to the port of Piraeus. The funny thing is, the port of Piraeus is I think it's on a 95 at the moment. It's on a 99-year lease to China, so that's a bit of a conflict.
Correct.
The BRICS nations. But where do you see yourself? Do you see yourself settling down in Greece and then having kids there and staying there?
Tough question. I thought we would just like shit on people today.
We've got a lot of shitting. Let's have a conversation.
We can have no problem with that. I just don't know if like people will watch this and they'll be like, oh, now they're talking about the boring stuff, like fuck the video or whatever.
Oh yeah. Well, this channel isn't really to make money. I'm just curious myself. I'm just curious what maybe there's some people there that would want to learn from this because you got in the pickup, you started coaching, and now long-term relationship, possibly settling down, maybe something like that. I think that's interesting. It's interesting to me.
I do believe that most of the guys that get in pickup, I'm not gonna say all because I know it's not everyone, but I believe that the majority of the guys that get in pickup eventually, like maybe deep down inside, that they do have still this pure innocent, like boyish dream of, oh, I'll find my life partner, I'll find my one, and have my little family, my little, I don't know, whatever. Somebody might want to be in a cabin in the woods in nature, like, you know what I mean? Like this kind of like fantasy, like male fantasy. I think most of the guys in pickup they did get into this with this as a motive, and then probably on the way got like too involved, like consumed by the bullshit and the toxicity and not and hitting walls and just kind of like got lost in the middle. And
so they
like what UMB like basically promotes to men.
So then they have this dream of finding the one, and then they end up just gaming for the rest of their life, you mean?
Yeah. And I know,
like me.
I don't know what your exact motives are, but I do know personal guys that have fallen exactly into this, and I know that they don't want to be into this. It's just like they're kind of like mentally trapped, and they don't like find the way out. Like, oh, how do I get what I want? But this like coach tells me, like, if I do a little bit more, a few more like fucking techniques, like maybe. When is the end? When is the fucking end? Do you end up like Jamal, like you fuck like 2,000 women, and meanwhile your wife goes and fucks other guys behind your back?
Well, the thing is, what is your end goal? Do you think this girl that you're with right now is the one you're going to marry, have some kids?
I believe so, yeah.
So are you going to stay in Greece? Are you worried about the war?
Sorry. Back to that.
Are you worried about the war? Are you worried about
the war in Iran?
No, both. But are you worried about Ukraine war escalating? You worried
It's
about the
like
economy in?
the Ukraine war is. I was like, which war does he mean? Like, I was like,
Yeah,
oh, the
well,
Iran, the
well,
Ukraine war is the absolute least
okay.
of the wars. It's like it's the Ukraine war is more of a worry of like how much money the European Union is throwing down this black hole rather
Mm.
than like Russia ever like doing anything aggressive towards the Europe.
And ask is because you're there, not me, but is the economy? Do you think the economy in Europe is going very well? It's got a good future. Is that where you're going to bring up kids,
I mean,
or
I
you?
can talk to you. I can talk to you about the
Mm,
subject in multiple layers. Like people think I mean, I don't know. I guess who knows? Maybe people don't even think about me anymore after so many years. But I think people see me as like, oh, the pickup guy, the threesome guy, the gangman guy, multiple girls guy, whatever. Some people remember me as the inner game guy. But my interests are very wide. I am very well informed on politics, on history, on anything. I do. I look things up. I constantly like try to understand what's going on in the world, and I could say that I do have a lot more depth than most people in this sense.
mm.
If you want to analyze, we can analyze the perspective of like how I view Greece. We can analyze how I see Europe and the European Union, and we can analyze how we see the West
No,
as
no, no.
a.
You
Um,
like, what is your plan?
it's
Um,
yes,
I
I
follow
don't have
Yanis. What's that guy's name? Yanis Yanafakakis.
Varoufakis.
I can't pronounce it. But
Yeah,
anyway,
yeah,
The Economist.
that guy is a fucking moron. The
So,
bald guy.
so yeah, the Economist. I think he
Yeah,
was.
that guy is a complete fucking moron. He's like, I don't know, leftist. He has like some utopian bullshit like view in his mind, like open
Mm,
borders, welcome everyone. Like I don't fucking know. Like, but I know from the few things that I've seen with him, he can sound correct in some things when he analyzes situations. But what he
yeah.
would do with the will of the country is like probably straight down a cliff.
He does
I
talk about techno feudalism, but
yeah,
so
yeah, I can see it going like that,
you
like
think
that direction.
Greece has a future, and that's where you're going to stay then?
Greece does not really stand by itself as an independent country. It's not a formidable force in any sense, economically or politically. Militarily,
Yeah.
Greece is surprisingly powerful for its size, but the even that, which is a strong point, is not leveraged by the political class. So the political class is extremely spineless, but it's not a surprise because you see much larger European forces like UK, Germany, France, like they're Spain, completely like lost the sense of identity of where they're going, of who they're serving, like the interests of the European people. Like whole for me, when I look at the EU right now, it's going straight down the fucking drain. At least with the current trajectory. I can see things like slowly changing, but what I'm not able to estimate is whether things will change for the better fast enough before we pass a critical point where it's too late to reverse anything. And Greece just fits this. It's not like all Greece will decide to go against whatever narrative is going on and everything will be like magically like fixed and done. Even if the political class wanted it, I think it would be extremely hard to go against the mainstream EU direction, which I don't agree with at all. We saw what happened in Hungary. We saw how hard the EU fought against the previous prime minister or president. I don't know what. I'm not sure which one of the two they have, but we could see how it went for him. Like he went really against the mainstream narrative, and they managed to
Yeah.
throw him out. I'm not gonna speak like, oh, did he do things correctly or badly, like internally, because he was corrupt, from what I know. Um,
Yeah.
but I did like the direction he held in terms of like foreign policy, like borders,
Mm.
security. I did agree with that.
Yeah. Victor
Uh,
Orban got kicked out. Yeah.
Yeah, the new prime minister, he shows some good signs. I honestly will say I thought the guy was going to be a disaster.
But my question is, so you're gonna stay? What are your plans? So you're gonna stay in Greece, probably get married,
Okay,
have
I'll give
kids, and
you
stay there.
clear,
So in 20
very
years' time, you'll still be in Greece. That's the plan.
very clear answer. Very clear answer. With the current trajectory, and if things don't change fairly quickly, which I also don't find very likely, there's no way for me to stay here. Like I do not fit in this environment with I don't feel that there is like much in the future in this country. If
Mm.
which it's for me is a very 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 small chance that this will happen. Maybe it will happen on a European level, but Greece I think would still lag behind. If things change massively for the economy and socially borders everything basically like a complete revamp of the European Union, then maybe there's like a I don't know 2-3% chance that I would stay. Like
Where would you
if
go?
things changed, but for the rest I think is like 97% probably not.
Okay, so what's the backup plan? What countries?
Oh, that's tough one. It's undecided.
Do you
Undecided.
think the East or the West will survive this World War III that we're technically in right now? Do you think we're in World War III? That's another question. Do you agree that we're even in World War III?
I think we've been in World War III since the second since World War II stopped. Like I think we've been in like
Mm.
in a perpetual World War III for like I don't know 80 fucking years or
Geo-
whatever.
the geopolitics, it's always rolling, isn't it? But what would be your backup plans then? So let's
My
just say,
backup plan is self reliance. So ideally, I want to put all the energy and focus and attention I have into business, scale as quickly as I can. So I have my money as my own protection and safety net, and then depending because I don't have a crystal ball, I can make some educated guesses or some projections, but I don't hold the crystal ball. I don't know how things will be. I do hope, right? I do hope that things change, but so far things seem bleak from the way I see them. So try to bulletproof myself personally as well as I can, and then judging accordingly with how the events unfold in Europe, then I can make my decision. Ideally, Europe is my home. I would like to stay in Europe, but if things get too bad, I will consider other options. I don't feel like culturally I would do well in Asia. I don't feel like I fit that much with just like how it's just a complete it's a very different universe for me. I could stay there some time of the year, some months. I can enjoy the summer. I can enjoy the nature. I can enjoy whatever that vibe has to offer and that environment has to offer. But my home, spiritually and mentally and culturally, in every sense, is Europe.
so if let's just say after the World Cup, this war escalates, which might be likely. They wait till the World Cup ends and then some more bombs start dropping. What is the backup plan? Is it move out of Greece if the economy starts having serious troubles? Is it go east towards Britain and France and Germany,
Oh,
or
fuck
is
no.
it or is it go west? Or is it go no west? Sorry, or is it go east to Russia?
Okay,
Or
you
is
so
it
you
go
meant
south?
when you said this, I thought you meant Asia, like I don't know, Indonesia, Thailand, like this kind of places, or China, or like
Well,
uh,
anywhere is on the list. Where would you go? Like
no,
you'd
like
go to Africa.
Western Europe is completely out of the question. I don't even want to step foot on these places
Okay.
unless something like radically changes. If I had to force myself to pick a European country, it would be Poland or Hungary, or but Slovakia, Czechia, maybe possibly. The thing is, I'm not very familiar with them. I've been to both, but I've not lived there. I've lived in Hungary. I've lived in Poland. Uh, I am very familiar with the environment. I know what they have to offer. I know the disadvantages. Slovakia and Czech, I assume they're, if you look in them into more depth, they're probably similar. So I can consider them as a side option. But from what I'm familiar with, it would be Hungary or Poland. And Poland
Okay.
wins if we look at it from economic aspect as well.
Okay. So how would that pan out? Do you think Poland's going to join and create a new little grouping of countries in Eastern Europe and separate from the West? Is that what you mean?
When I was talking about the new prime minister, as I said, I thought the worst of him before. I thought he was just like a European puppet. But it turns out immediately after getting elected that he's done some surprisingly good things. I cannot tell with certainty. I still am trying to understand him. But what I heard he wants to do is he wants to create a mini alliance within the EU that includes Poland, Slovakia, Czechia, and Austria, like a new Visegrad group plus Austria for like extra votes within the EU Parliament. And the goal, as far as I understand, is so that Hungary does not stand isolated like it did with Orban, but he wants to create this Central European alliance where he promotes more strongly within the EU the interests of these countries. So
My problem from an Australian on the other side of the world is every time a group of countries get aligned in Europe, every other European country gets in to try and destroy it. It's like Yugoslavia all over again.
I think the only who's trying to do this is the leaderships of the bigger Western European countries and the
Yeah.
EU leadership. I don't believe that they all, like the Germans, have something against the Central European Alliance, whatever, promoting the leaders. I think most of the people in everyday citizens in Europe are fairly chill, and I think everybody's just like getting super fed up with the leadership everywhere, and that's what I'm hoping to see. Like soon, I'm hoping to see this change, that you can see that it's being constantly like fought against. So everywhere you see like where the political status quo is changing in Western Europe and Eastern Europe, you see the already existing establishment trying to do UMP style of fuckery to screw over the yeah like it's literally like that. Like they constantly gaslight the natives, they manipulate the natives, they play with the laws, they play with the election and the seats and the coalitions. It's like a constant fuckery. So
Yeah,
they're very similar.
yeah, you're noticing some stuff here, but it's the issue that I'm hearing is there's no certainty. That's what I'm hearing.
No, there is no certainty. There is no certainty.
And that's the worst kind. Why wouldn't you go to Russia?
Uh, I'm not saying no to that. I'm not saying no to that. If we look at from like purely, it wouldn't be a bad choice if we're talking about safety or culture or
Yeah.
other societies, but it has problems. I mean, number one, the most obvious is the fuckery with the sanctions. So the Russian economy is obviously holding, but we don't know for how long and how well it's holding. And the and there is a significant corruption issue in Russia as well. Now, you might say, as a regular everyday citizen, like you could consider, is what Putin is doing, how he's ruling the country, right, or whatever. Maybe you wouldn't feel it as much as an everyday citizen. You go, you do your groceries, you send your kids to school. Maybe it doesn't affect you that much. I'm not going to look into this aspect. If we're looking just at economy, is not ideal. What a country that is seemingly doing way better, and you could consider a better version of Russia, is Poland. They took the money from the EU, they used it properly, they did the investments right, they fucking ran ahead above, like faster than every other former whatever Eastern European country economically, and they are one of the few economies that is growing strongly. They have strong borders. They have no crime issue. The crime is just like going down while everywhere else in Western Europe is going up. If there is something close to a perfect country, not perfect, but like the best that you possibly have, I would pick Poland right now for a Western European. If you're Chinese, it's obviously like probably China. Um, but for a
Mm.
Westerner, I would pick Poland over anything. I don't like the weather, okay, but you can say that this is like not a big of a deal. Polish people are a little bit like more closed off to foreigners. Language is a little bit tough, so you would have some time
Mm.
to integrate, to make potentially friendships or connect to people if we're talking about the personal and interpersonal level. But when we look at from a like more macro scale and economics and politics and society, it is the one country that's fucking doing well still.
So, do you think Poland is in a stable political situation? What if the Germans, the French, and the British start putting a lot of pressure on Poland to do something that they could get themselves in a find themselves in a Ukraine sort of situation? Is that
Uh,
likely or unlikely? Do you think it's
you mean
stable?
like a false flag operation?
Everything is possible.
Well, they already did. Like the Ukrainians have already done false flags in Poland. They've already done false flags in Romania and Hungary. They blew up like supposedly, like not that I
Do you
know,
think
right?
Poland will survive then?
Survive what a war with Russia?
Or just economically, because there's a lot of pressure on Poland at the moment, isn't there?
Uh, Potentially with the whole.
It feels like moving to South Korea with the North Koreans on the doorstep. It doesn't feel like a good spot to be. There's a war right on the doorstep of Poland.
They for me, as you said, it's uncertainty. So Poland is
Mm.
doing great with the current whatever is currently happening, but they are indeed at the precarious position. But I do believe that they are as a nation that they're intelligent enough to look for their interests with a calm head. I think the Ukrainians were both arrogant and manipulated by EU, NATO, and the West. They were sold the idea, oh, like you go poke the bear, and then we will assist you. We will be like by your side. And then we saw that this was not the case, and they got like obliterated.
Yeah.
Uh, we're at least at like 1.5 million lost Ukrainians in the war, and potentially like
Mm.
close to 2 million, which is very sad. And I think they hype themselves up and they let like fucking EU, NATO, West, like the establishment, like the Biden administration and all these, like just blow smoke up the ass and and provoke this thing. Like people will start disagreeing with me, like calling me like, oh, like Putin lover, like
Mm.
Ukraine is the defender of Western European democratic values, and it's like, bro, it's not. Like I've been to Ukraine, I've seen these people. They are extremely similar. They're equally corrupt. They're literally
Mm.
like two sides of the same coin, and it just happened. It just happened that the Ukrainians could serve some Western, no, some certain elites and lobbies interests in the West, and they just got dragged into this. They
You
they they,
see,
they they're not really that different from the Russians in terms of like values or anything. Like pretty much the same shit. You
you
wanna
see,
you wanna see them as like
from the outside looking in, there's no evidence of a European country or countries during a conflict time just avoiding all of the trouble. You know, there's World War One, World War Two. It seems like there's always, and if I look at that pattern, I can't help but feel like history will just repeat again because there doesn't seem to be a way to get out of that problem. The United States would love a massive war with Russia and Eastern European countries. They would love Germany to attack Russia. This is what America wants. But so, um, so it sounds like hang out in Greece, 97% chance that it's not going to work out there, and you have to go somewhere else, and then bounce around and avoid the bombs and the economic problems and the immigrants. Is that the plan? Why not go to Asia? Why not move to? Why not venture further? You know how many
I don't know.
Europeans.
I understand perfectly what you're asking, but for me, this is like a quitter mindset, right? So it's like, oh, somebody is breaking into my home, raping, killing my family, impoverishing me, like doing all sorts of UMP style fuckery in my environment, and then I'll be like, oh, like things are not working out for me. I'll just like bounce, right? So
Mm.
I do. A part of me is here, like a part of who I am is of my soul, of my heart, of my mind, of my essence is European. Is I can't just like pack my shit and be like, oh yeah, goodbye. Like go deal with everything yourself. Like go fuck yourself.
So
No.
if this does escalate and Greece gets involved, would you go fight? Is that what you
Uh,
mean?
Fight what? Fight Rasa?
Who at this point
Fight
you
Rasa?
could be
Like 80%, 70 to 80% of the Greek population is is if not pro-Russian, if we were to very very simplify it, right? Because it's a very dumb simplification. Because there is
yeah,
not like Russia and Ukraine in the West. It's like some elites with their interests, and then everybody else fucking loses. That's for me like how I view the thing. That if you were to simplify it like extremely to dumb it down to like NPC level intelligence, um, the vast majority of the population in Greece is pro-Russian,
yeah.
and um, the points where the government is pro-EU, whatever, pro-Ukraine, even like sending arms to Ukraine, and the people are like, what? Like people are literally like everything. Every time there is like news of the government sending something to Ukraine, people in the comments are fucking like they make up swear words that I've never seen in my life about the current government.
Mm.
Just to be
So the
like, what?
writing's on the wall. The writing is on the wall. When you think about it, you can kind of see that Greece might find itself involved in something, possibly.
You wanna hear something very like some interesting fuckery that went on this last like week or 10 days. There was found a Ukrainian little naval drone with explosives, like a little boat, drone boat, in a cave on an island on the western part of the country, like from the side that faces away from Ukraine and Russia. And it was like a big scandal, like that okay, the government is like sending aid and technically they're allied with Ukraine, whatever, and then we find their shit like roaming in our waters.
So they could launch that drone west.
I do not know much about it. I do not know like what the official narrative is or what the real narrative is. Like they're investigating how it was found there, if like where it was launched. Somebody says maybe it was launched from some Turkish base in Albania. The Ukrainians, the first shit they said was like, oh, it drifted. It drifted from the Black Sea all the way to like the west. That's bullshit. Like it's
You
impossible.
can you can definitely see how people on the ground acting for multiple different factions could launch something at a neighbor, launch something west, launch something east, launch something north, and these European countries might actually. It just goes back to what you're looking at is very uncertain. It's very
Yeah,
uncertain the
it's very
situation that
uncertain.
you find yourself in. And let's just say your girlfriend or you're going to get married, she gets pregnant, and then some drones start whizzing past the window. You're like, oh shit, I'm in the wrong country.
There is no situation where I believe Greece would ever be involved in a war with Russia. First of all, in general, I give it like a low chances that this will happen. I think the Europeans, this fucking clique would have to do some like really fucked up shit to provoke Russia to actually attack because the Russians are not dumb. People are like, I don't know how people like still believe in the West. Oh, the Russia wants to attack the EU and Putin is like the new Hitler. It's like, bro, like if you know anything about military equipment, if you know anything about the technological capabilities of NATO, EU, Russia, whatever, you know that only a complete fucking moron or a crazy person, on the wheel of Russia would believe even 1% that they can win a war against the EU. They don't have the technological capability, and we see that like they're struggling. They've struggled in Ukraine for like 3 years. They did their first attack and they took like a lot of land, but they've walked like they've moved very slowly. So it's like, so you're telling me the narrative that Russia will attack EU like on the fucking front of thousands of kilometers, that they are so stupid that they believe that they can win this when they're struggling in Ukraine. Like you have to be either completely brainwashed or straight up a fucking moron, a retard, to actually take this narrative seriously.
It's definitely a self-reinforcing idea, because
It is.
the
It is.
more
The
the more
Europeans are
drones
scaring themselves, and they're steering up shit because they're scaring themselves.
the more drones that are sent from multiple different countries in Europe into Russia, they increase the probability of Russia striking those NATO countries and then reinforcing what they've been pitching all along, which makes you realize that they've been pitching it all along for a reason, because they're trying to make it happen. And in a way, Russia's avoided striking those NATO countries.
Yeah.
And eventually, Russia might, and if you're right, they're not as strong as some people say, they might want to shut it down with some Orezhniks or a nuclear strike or something. And how does that change your position where you are? What's plan C? Poland is plan B. What's plan C? I'm interested in this.
For me, the scenario you describe, although it's because you never know, like you never know. If you go back to Poland, you say how Poland will handle it. I have more trust. I feel internally more trust in how Poland will handle their whatever position and situation than distrust. So let's get Poland out of the way. In terms of EU, you do raise a point. The risk when we're looking at the EU as a whole is going up. It is becoming a self-fulfilling prophecy. The EU is arming currently, in my opinion, very necessarily, and this is going to be an extremely tough economics burden on every European country, and very full, like very like, for me it's wrong. It's like a completely wrong direction. So there is like, it sounds that this would happen. Now would Greece get involved in that war? I believe, and I'm very adamant on that. First of all, that even the government, with however stupid they are, I don't believe they would actively involve Greece in the war. The same thing happened with the NATO bombing of Serbia in 1999. Greece was the only country in NATO that refused to actively participate in the bombings. And also behind the scenes, there were people in the army and the government that were actively feeding NATO intelligence to the Serbians to avoid or counterattacks. And this it's one of the reasons why Greece got banned from the common intelligence sharing service of NATO, at least for some time. I don't know if we're still banned. So I'm very, very adamant on that something similar would happen in case with in a direct confrontation between EU or NATO and Russia. Either the government would straight out refuse and just stay out of it, or if they were stupid enough to do this, it would be like instant political death. Like the next day, basically, like 1/3 of the country probably would be on the streets, like taking them down. I'm like adamant on that. It was like something that I believe with like a 90% certainty.
The thing is, some of the countries in Europe, they're so small that you can do a regime change quite easy and then control that country without the will of the people real fast, real easy. And that's why I feel Could you get into? Would Britain be a backup plan? Can you get into Britain?
No.
No.
As of thing, I mean, even if Britain was not in the chaos that it is, I just don't vibe with these people. Even
Yeah.
if Britain was like nice and in order and safe and they were doing economically well, which they're absolutely not, by the way. It's just a matter of like
Mhm.
I just don't vibe
Yeah.
with them.
Yeah. It's funny in
But no, if
2018.
you look at Britain like objectively from like all these metrics, Britain is straight down the drain for me. Like,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
think for every reasonable person that is looking at everything that's going on, crime, economy,
Yeah.
the internal division, the per capita. I don't remember the exact number, but per capita, Britain has fuck. What was the number? I really don't remember the number, but it might be something in like tenths, 10 times, like maybe like more arrests for social media posts than Russia. And like,
Yeah.
who are you telling you're the Western liberal democracies, freedom of speech, and like they are more of a
Yeah.
dictatorship than Russia is.
Yeah, I can vouch for that because I actually got myself a 5-year work and study visa, and my girlfriend from Sydney, we moved because she just finished her PhD. We moved to Oxford, and I was going to live in Oxford. I lasted 3 weeks. I looked around and I'm like, this place is a shithole.
Yeah,
I'm
I
sorry, but
think so too.
like, and she got a job as a scientist in Oxford, and then I met some of the scientists. There was some smart scientists there, but the whole community was retarded. And I just said to her, I said, "Look, I got to go back to Sydney. We're gonna have to reassess our situation." And so
I I
um,
hear
it's not
something
any
about
better.
I hear
It's not any
something
better now.
about Australia occasionally, and I think that it's eerie, right? It's eerie how the whole Anglo-Saxon world, when we look at Canada, UK, and Australia, it's like as if they follow the exact same trajectory when they don't have to. It's like you would expect them to behave differently, and you're like, who is doing that? Like, why are the exact same policies suddenly implemented everywhere at once?
Seems like you're noticing a pattern.
I am definitely noticing a pattern.
Seems like you're noticing something. But I do know that there's a lot of people, and even just a couple of days ago, a professor that I follow, who's a geopolitical analyst, uh, I think it's Neil Deason. He just sold up in Norway. He sold all of his property and just bought a property in Sydney, Australia, because he's like, World War III is kicking off. I'm getting out, and this is his profession. So there's a lot of them moving to Australia at the moment, to wait out the war, basically. Um, but yeah, you're right, and it is it is a plan, and they're all connected. So even Australia is connected to what's going on in Europe, just economically, politically. So yeah, might be time to start thinking about it. I think something might happen after the Soccer World Cup. It'll be all peaceful now. Don't worry, everything will be okay. Go have your party, go have your bread and circuses, and then boom, straight after they give the trophy over to the new World Cup winner. Uh, that might happen. Well, that's kind of everything. That's kind of
Mm-hmm.
everything. I'll be expecting your book in the next 6 months, and
Well, maybe 6 years.
hopefully not that long. Um, but we've had a good talk. I think we've
Oh yeah,
covered a lot.
I enjoy that.
Well, thanks
We
for
could
coming on.
it could have been more drama. There is more interesting stories, like like more on the side, but still like lots of shit that you could find like interesting. Regarding the Sopot Summit, this was like most of it.
Yeah,
Uh, we who knows? Maybe we could do like another call about other smaller things. I know things like, for example, about JML. I can bring, maybe I can remember specific scenarios or examples.
I've got like 100 videos on JMOV, I think. If you look at my
It's
channel, like,
hard to Even if you tried, you wouldn't be able to find like.
I've got a whole bunch of videos on JMOV, but yeah, for sure we can talk and maybe do something else as well. I'm always up for, because every video is like a record of the community in a way. You see? So, but anyway, do you want to wrap it up?
Yeah, and I enjoyed the whole social political. I don't get that opportunity like often to do that on camera. It's very rare.
I'm always talking about it. I've been a geopolitical analyst for 11 years now. Actually, that's my real thing. Pickup is the side
I,
hustle for fun.
I like that. I like that. And I get to speak my views about a lot of things that people have basically never heard of.
Yeah. But anyway, I think we've been going for almost 3 hours. It's been a good talk. Thanks for the drama, and maybe we can find something else to talk about in the future. And yeah, thanks for coming on. I expect your book in the next 6 months, and you can come on and release the book here.
Thank you for the motivation and for the opportunity to speak all these things. I think I needed like some outlet even after so many years. Like it was definitely felt just right to put some people in place.
Well, that's good. That's good.
Should I show the audience our surprise? My surprise.
Yeah, it's good to get it off your chest. But yeah, thank you very much. And I'll end the stream